I hope people are actually watching the show on video to see John go max headroom on us.
That wasn't even max headroom. That was just slowed down. He's like, I had that on tappet.
Come back here.
That was actually not my internet. That was my impression of Too Many Beers.
Everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, March the 4th, 2025. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, none of the Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Hey, everybody. Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras, folks. Happy Mardi Gras. There it is, right there. And what are you eating on this lovely Mardi Gras evening?
I'm eating a muffaletta.
Muffaletta, you're making me jealous.
First time I had muffaletta was about 7 weeks ago when my son and I were in New Orleans.
That would be correct, yes.
My first time in New Orleans, had it at Napoleon House along with my Pim's Cup, which was nice. And it was really, really good. So I was determined I wanted to make it for Mardi Gras, but I had to learn how to make the bread first.
So
you
didn't buy the muffaletta bread. You actually made it yourself. That is fantastic.
And also the olive salad.
You made the olive salad yourself. You didn't buy it. Right.
It's really easy. It's just chopped up black olives, green olives, jardiniere, parsley.
Got to get that good vinegar thing going. And,
capers, roasted red peppers. So good.
So good. So good. Oh, that's a different show.
With the, what's called? Yes, it's mortadella, provolone, mozzarella, salami, and ham.
Yep. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You wonder why an Italian sandwich is in New Orleans, which
there's a lot of Italians there.
Cajun, Creole, French, right?
Yes, but there are also a lot of Italians.
Yeah, there are.
Just like any city, but
of course.
Yum.
There you go. Looks good. Are you going to eat that whole thing right now, or? So bomb. All right. Well, I will jump on everything else. I will.
This was a lot bigger, by the way. It was cold.
I was going to say,
the water was cold.
You got the heat on there. Anyway, happy National Snack Day while Samurai is snacking there. Actually, more than a snack, but he's. So happy National Snack Day. And also happy National Pound Cake Day for those who celebrate.
It really should be King Cake Day, right?
It should be King Cake Day. You would think it would be King Cake Day. Right?
Yeah. Dropping olive salad all over the place.
I love salad too. I love salad all over the place too. So
all over the place.
There you go.
Oh, this was the good mortadella too. It had
the
little piece of
pistachios in it. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Good stuff.
So now is this Happy National Pound Cake Day for the dessert or for the song from Van Halen? Dessert. Okay.
It could be a.
It's not that drill on the guitar on the beginning. It's not that. No.
No.
Gotcha. All right. Fair enough. It's one other day. Why don't you bring up the other day?
So the other day, and being Fat Tuesday, and here it's always fat. Every Tuesday is Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday, Fat Wednesday, Fat Thursday.
But Shrove Tuesday, as it's also called.
Shrove Tuesdays.
Yeah, the Polish people, and I'm mostly Polish, very devout Catholic country, right? And what they do on Shrove Tuesday is they celebrate by making pashkis. And these are they're basically powdered donuts with filling.
Right.
You can have, and it could be a chocolate cream filling, a vanilla cream filling. It could be a fruit filling, just like any kind of filled donut.
Now, speaking of chocolate donuts with filling, there's yet another one. This one's not Polish. This is French.
With chocolate filling?
Not a chocolate donut, but a donut with filling. It's not a donut per se, but...
You mean a bonbon?
No. Like a square thing, and you could fill it with.
Oh, it's rare. It's rare the beignets are filled.
No, you can fill beignets though.
Yes, you can. You can fill anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can fill a turkey.
Well, and I do. Well, actually, I don't. Well, I fill it with onions and oranges, but that's the show for November.
Yeah, that's not for now. But yeah, you can fill it with anything. But no, the beignets I usually have, it's rather than filled, they usually come with dipping sauces if you want extra flavor.
Fair enough. Well, I'm thirsty, and I think we should continue this Mardi Gras and Fat Tuesday and Shrove Tuesday.
This olive salad's making me.
I need to drink as well. So let's bring on our guest, shall we?
Who we have?
All right. Today, please welcome Mr. Brew Guru himself, John Staradumsky.
Guys, how are you?
John.
Thank you for joining us on this fattest of Tuesdays.
That it is, for sure. It is a Mardi Gras.
It is a very, very Tuesday that is fat.
It is gras than most Tuesdays because it's damn.
It is more gras than most Martys.
Yep. And this sandwich is making me gras-ier.
There you go.
Groggy.
Groggy, not yet.
Well, yeah. Well, it kind of works both ways. There you go. And Brian Boak just commented and he said, I am not out to dinner tonight. Yes, Brian.
Oh, congratulations. Is he doing anything for Mardi Gras?
Yes. What are you doing for Mardi Gras, Brian? So anyway, John, how are you? How are you though? How's everything going? Good.
Very good. Good.
Awesome.
I'll be with you guys in a moment. I'm almost done with this.
Why don't you,
Dave, in real life? So I know he exists.
Yes, you did. You did. You definitely did.
And that was on the trip to New Orleans. It was on my way back.
Yeah.
On the trip in question before when you were talking about Muffaletta. Yeah, with your son. Yep. On the way back. And at some point this year, most likely, I'll be down that way, so we can hook up in at Taco Mac as well.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
while Dave's finishing that, I got a question for you. How close are you to the that chemical fire that was burning?
It was about an hour south of me.
It's far enough, wasn't it?
The one that was a while ago, though. The big one recently.
Yeah.
So.
And that was south. Isn't that the airport?
It's not too far from there. Yeah.
It's right. It's close to Atlanta. It was. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm about 45 minutes north of downtown Atlanta. So.
Yeah, and the airport's on the southwestern side of Atlanta. So.
Yep.
I know. We flew into it.
Flew into it. There you go. You did. Yes, you did. Cool. All right. Let's pour our beers and then we'll get to talking.
Yeah, please.
Mr. Guru, what are you imbibing for the first beer tonight?
Well, let's see. You guys were talking about today that it should be National King Cake Day, but I would say it should be National King Cake Beer Day. This is Death by King Cake.
Death by King Cake. There you go.
From Oscar Blues, and they call it a white porter, which I don't believe in white porter, white stout, Santa Claus, or the Easter Bunny. I don't think any of those things exist.
Wait a second. That was almost a Queen lyric there. Don't believe in Superman.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Very true.
But anyway, this is actually it's about 5 years old. I don't think they've brewed it since then. I got it in a 4-pack in 2020. And actually that year, we had a trip planned to New Orleans. It was in March, but it was mid-March. It was right around St. Patrick's Day. So we were going to miss, we wouldn't have made it for Mardi Gras. But of course, COVID came along and we ended up having to cancel the trip. So
I've heard of that.
This 4-pack of Death by King Cake was the closest I got to Mardi Gras that year. So
there you go.
Or New Orleans for that matter.
There you go.
You've never been?
No, I've been.
That year was the closest he got.
That year.
Yeah, it was close for that year. But I went right before Katrina hit, actually.
Oh,
gotcha. All right, Samurai, what are you drinking there?
Well, I'm using my mushroom glass, which, as we know, Tom Mulvihill hates this glass because it's got that opalescence, so you can't see the color of the beer.
Yep.
But if you're not getting that glare and getting the opalescence, it is a nice amber color, which I think we'll see in a minute anyway.
You're going to see in a minute anyway.
Because this is what I am drinking, the Mardi Gras Bock from Abita.
And I'll just jump on right with you. I'm going to drink the same thing.
There we go. And yeah, so we got 6.5% because.
And there's the amber color. There you go.
There's it. That's the true color of the beer. And I really think that this beer, I'm hoping this is going to really fight the salinity and the brine of the olive salad and wash that out. That's what we got here. Yep.
Yeah, it's doing it.
Yeah, it will. John, how did that beer hold up?
It's all right. It's actually I actually just posted a review of it today. I did in 2020. I took notes, but as sometimes happens, I take the notes and then I never flesh them out into a full-blown review because I've just got too many beers in the queue. But I finished it off today, and I thought it was pretty good then, but it wasn't spectacular, and it's less than spectacular now. You still get a little bit of spices, get a little bit of the white cake note, but it's degraded a little bit. I actually did. It's been refrigerated all this time, so I think that's helped it hold up a little bit. But it's only 6.5%. It's not an excessive.
Oh yeah.
It's bigger, yeah.
So
it's funny because my son and I almost did experience death by king cake pretzel while we were there.
There you go. I thought you just experienced death by king cake.
No, king cake pretzel. There is a German restaurant in Bayside that we went to. No, in New Orleans.
Kidding.
Can't remember the name of it right now, but they had a king cake pretzel, and my son wanted it, and the thing was this big, and we were already just so friggin' full. We started eating it. We didn't even get halfway through it, and I think we were both not breathing anymore. So yeah, we almost experienced death by king cake pretzel.
Well, I'm a little disappointed. None of the cans out of the 4-pack have had a plastic or porcelain baby in them. So that's
neither did our pretzel, by the way.
Oh, man.
That's very disappointing. Very disappointing.
At least we don't know because we threw away most of it. Maybe it did.
You couldn't finish it, could you?
No, there's no way I would have died.
Gotcha.
I would have straight up died, but I do recommend that restaurant.
You could have taken it back with you, just eating a little bit here and a little bit there. And
no, because we had so many other places we wanted to go and eat. It's called Brassiol, is the name of the restaurant. Do recommend it. It's right next to Pizza Delicious.
And there you have it. Brian Boak just commented again. He said, first beer he's drinking is a Structure Brewing Silvernail Baltic Porter at 8.5%.
You just make Staradumsky jealous because you've got a better porter.
Exactly.
He's got a much better porter. Yes.
And they said, not for the day, but having some of his pulled pork barbecue sandwich for dinner and drinking beer with us. That's what he said.
That's a great way to spend an evening.
It's a great way to spend an evening. I do it every Tuesday.
Same here. I do have to ask John a question. Why are you wearing Treadwell's jersey?
Why am I wearing Treadwell's jersey? No. I'm wearing Bobby Boucher's jersey.
Oh, okay. So I see number 9 in orange. Yeah, I think Treadwell, who was he a punter for the Broncos?
So yes, no, he was a place kicker.
Place kicker. He was a kicker for the Broncos. Okay. So Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher. It's the Bourbon Bowl, the 50th anniversary Bourbon Bowl. Yep.
I don't know about you, Staradumsky, but I'm pretty certain there's something wrong with Freydon's Abdullah Oblongata.
Boucher right there. Yeah. Anyway, so I figured, it's New Orleans, Louisiana. I went with my Bobby Boucher, and I apologize for wearing a jersey. No, I'm not trying to make this a sports show because John is on. I'm sure at some point. At some point, it will digress into some.
Yeah, I was going to give you shit about that. Say, John, do we have to turn every damn thing into a sports show?
There you go.
Well, what is life if not a metaphor for football and vice versa? So,
exactly. And there might be one or two questions that I want to ask John that I already know because I've been asking him anyway already. But I'll ask it on the show at some point later on. Swig beer first, but
yes,
this is Bob Boucher. This is Bobby Boucher jersey. Well, I mean, there's something wrong with everybody's medulla oblongata, but we won't go there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There you go. So, anyway, cool. So, Fat Tuesday or Mardi Gras or
Shrove Tuesday.
Shrove Tuesday, yes. It's and tomorrow being Ash Wednesday, that's when it is, and it usually happens anywhere between, if I recall, it Ash Wednesday has to be, or Fat Tuesday, because of when Ash Wednesday has to be, can be anywhere from February 3rd to March 9th, if I recall correctly, because Ash Wednesday has to be anywhere from February 4th to March 10th.
No, that would be one day earlier now, wouldn't it?
That would be correct.
I'm trying to do my best John Lovitz, and it sucked.
There you go. But in any event, so the Lenten season starts tomorrow. For those of you that observe.
Observe. Obey. I'm sorry. Observe. Yes.
I still remember in going back, MASH. Whatchamacallit, Klinger couldn't eat meat on a Friday or something, and he didn't. No, that wasn't it. He said, "Oh, thank God," and then Hawkeye says, "Klinger, I thought you were an atheist." He says, "I gave it up for Lent."
Yeah, it's like same here, except I'm not an atheist, but I did mostly give up religion for Lent in college.
There you go. So anyway, but
I also gave up all sense of morality in college as well. So
I think you gave it up before college.
It goes hand in hand.
Exactly.
Now, I was a good boy before college.
There you go.
No, that's a lie.
But Fat Tuesday is, there's a lot, obviously it's the feast before the fasting, right? Is basically what Fat Tuesday really is all about. And it's Carnival, right? In
Carnival.
But this year, I know everybody's been talking about it, how bad, the economy has gotten, that anybody throwing beads, women only are flashing one boob this year.
Oh,
wow.
So,
that's inflation.
Yes, or not.
This is going to be an emotional Mardi Gras for New Orleans, considering the attack by truck that happened on New Year's Eve.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure there's heightened securday. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, you should have seen the security
when you were there.
Well, because they were bucking it up for the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl is already.
Right. And while we were there, there's constantly
the Barkley Bowl.
Yes, the F-15s screaming across the sky. And it's like I'm trying to figure out.
Just some guy hanging out the front of the F-15 going,
yeah, pretty much. It was loud, man.
Screaming across
the there.
Yeah. We were talking to the people, people who live there, and they're like, every now and then we get something, go across the outskirts of the city. They said, but 2-3 times a day we're getting it going straight across the city.
Gotcha.
And I'm thinking, if there's a terrorist attack or anything like that, it's more than what with one major exception, they've all been kind of ground based. I don't really know how an F-15 is going to stop that without destroying half the damn city.
Right.
Yes, if it's going to be an air attack, you want an F-15.
Sure.
There's no better. We have no better interceptor.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, the F-22 is not bad, but
the F-22's only ever intercepted a balloon.
So far.
So far. That's the only.
Thus far.
And it's funny.
For their chance. But.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It really is. If you ever watched, there's a guy on YouTube out there called Habitual Line Crosser, and he gives personalities to all the planes. Mm-hmm. And the F-22 is just dying to get an intercept.
Yeah.
I love that guy. I learn more about world history from that than I do any of our news outlets, because the spin is only comedy. It's kind of like Jon Stewart in that way, but from a military angle. It's fun, but the F-22. I was talking to my sons in the Air Force, and I said, so these balloons that they sent up there, we decided to shoot them down with a $1 billion piece of machinery with rockets that cost over $100,000 each, when really a guy with a Piper Cub and an airsoft could have done the damn job.
Yeah, spitballs maybe. Yeah.
You need to put a hole about that big in it just for it to malfunction. Yeah.
He's like, he goes, we hadn't used the F-22 for anything yet, so I guess they want
try it out. Why not?
Give it something.
The missiles have an expiration code on them. You got to use them. got to use them or lose them, So
they are pretty good to see in action, though. They're pretty cool. But
yeah.
They've been down to the Air Force Base here in Marietta, and they've been at air shows and just flying around a few times, and they're pretty impressive. But I guess every fighter aircraft is pretty impressive when you're just looking up and watching it. But they can move, that's for sure.
Well, the thing is, when we put the F-22 into action, that means everything's going to shit.
Yeah.
The F-22 is held in reserve for when you want one plane to take out one country's whole air force. That's what F-22 is designed to do.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm just curious if some of the, and obviously not F-22 per se, but if some of the flying maneuvers and some of the funky stuff that Tom Cruise did in Top Gun actually can happen, or if it was just Hollywood.
One of them definitely can't. I've seen some videos on it. There's one thing that he does that definitely could not be done, especially in the plane he was in. But they believe that the 22 can actually do it. So it's not an impossibility, just not in the plane he was in. I forget what he was flying.
Gotcha. Brian Boak just commented he will give up anchovies for Lent.
That's a big sacrifice there, right?
Mm-hmm. So
we know how he loves.
I like them on pizza though, but I mean, maybe I'm in the minority. But
I'll happily give up snails for Lent.
I'm going to give up eggplant.
Frog's legs.
Frog's legs. I'll give up snails and frog's legs.
Yeah.
And liver, not liverwurst, liver. I can take or leave liver, mostly leave, but liverwurst on rye bread, onions and mustard.
Onions and mustard. Wow. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't use the onions. I put it on
you put it on English muffin.
Toasted English muffin.
That's good too.
Actually. To get the crunch. 3 thick slabs and brown mustard, spicy brown. And that to me is one of the what I consider one of the perfect sandwiches.
I'm craving. Now that we're talking about this, it just literally hit me. I got to get my ass over to McSorley's. I need a couple of pints of dark and a liverwurst and liverwurst sandwich.
A couple of pints of dark. They serve them in quarter pints or third pints.
Well, that's my point. I need a couple of pints of dark.
Yeah, so you need six. You need 6 glasses.
I need like 6 glasses of it, right? So I'll just
order 3 and 3.
Order 3 and 3, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Oh no! If you order 3, you get 3 dark, 3 light.
Right. So I'll order
6. We'll just order 12 and 12.
We'll order 12 and 12.
Well, Doug and I went into there once, and he ordered 6 and 6, and so she's getting ready to walk away. I said, no, I'll have 6 and 6 too. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay. And the tables around us were very curious to see how fast him and I were going through a dozen of these beers, and they're 10 ounce. They're 10 ounces.
They're like 8 or 10 ounces.
8 or 10 ounce. Yeah. And I remember it was the day they retired Jeter's jerseys when it happened. It was live on the TV, and that
was 8 years ago. Yeah. It was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, we were pre-gaming a Midnight Oil concert, actually.
There you go. Brian Boak just commented his dad was a big liverwurst and onion sandwich fan. Absolutely.
So, John, you know my friend Jim. We went out on his boat. We went out on a boat fishing for blackfish. Mm-hmm. And
I know this. He's telling you this, John. See, you got 2 Johns here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I was just saying, here's a Johnny knows Jim. Okay. But this people brought a bunch of stuff. This one guy brought these really nice deli sandwiches, all these varieties and all that with interesting toppings on it and all that. And this one guy has this brown bag. He had a sack of liverwurst on rye.
Oh.
He's like, I'm not really sure, how many people eat, liverwurst, but I brought a sack of these things. The poor guy with the really fancy deli sandwiches wound up, well, maybe not poor guy, but he went home with all of them.
Yeah.
Everybody was eating liverwurst. The only person who didn't like liverwurst had just chummed over the side and was asleep inside the cabin. That'd be my son.
Yeah.
There you go.
So he missed out, but
he missed out.
He doesn't actually like liverwurst, so
there you go.
I don't know what I did wrong.
Somebody has to do the chumming.
Yeah, somebody has to do the chumming. Well, they're bottom feeders, so it didn't really help.
That's true.
So, but hey, he was a trooper. He didn't beg to go
that
in
boat,
or anything.
That boat is really cool. That's a very nice boat.
It actually wasn't Jim's boat. We were on a different boat.
Oh, you were?
Jim's, he threw a rod. And he goes, well, unless you just want to, drive around in circles, because one of the engines is down.
I was gonna say, the rudder ain't working, but gotcha. All right, fair enough.
Bring more liverwurst, and in the famous words of Robert Shaw, no, it wasn't him that said it, but you're gonna need a bigger boat.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. Yeah.
That was Brody that said that, right?
Brody.
Sergeant.
Brody said it. Yeah.
Sergeant Brody.
Yeah.
Sheriff Brody.
Yeah. Yeah.
John Schneider.
Robert Shaw was cool.
Rod Schneider.
John.
No,
not Rob.
Rob Schneider.
Rob was in Waterboy, wasn't he?
Rob was in Waterboy. Yeah.
Yes, he was.
The other thing I was going to say is, I got a question for both of you. Do you know why you're not supposed to run in New Orleans during Mardi Gras?
Well, you're not supposed to run.
Mm-hmm. Any idea?
Not a clue.
You will spill the ice out of your drink. Is this thing on? Hello? No.
But you haven't seen the drinks. They're capped with straws. You can't.
I know.
Tough crowd. Yeah.
I got one more for you. How do you know that you've been to Mardi Gras?
You don't remember a damn thing.
You wake up in the morning with the words "Beignets rule" tattooed on your ass.
See, I've never been to Mardi Gras, but never mind.
But you have a tattoo of Beignets rule on your ass.
Yeah, but it's in French.
It's in French. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
I hope that everybody's okay.
I hope so too. Anyway, all right. Yeah, it's also called Pancake Tuesday. I'm curious. I'm just looking in here trying to find out why it's also called.
There is one country that does pancakes on Shrove Tuesday.
It's more usually known as Pancake Tuesday traditionally, or Shrove Tuesday, derived from North Shrove, but that doesn't say why. It just yes. Oh, in the UK.
It is the UK. Okay.
UK is Pancake Tuesday. Yeah, there you go.
Pancake Tuesday.
There you go. Fair enough. Very cool. All right. So, there are a lot of good beer. There are a lot of good beer. There is a lot of good beer in Louisiana, and I've had some of it. I must say I haven't had enough of it. I actually have not been to Louisiana. I've never been to Louisiana. I've been around Louisiana. I've been to Texas. I've been to Arkansas. I've been to Mississippi. I've been to Tennessee. I have not been to Louisiana. So I've been all around it. It's not there. But you two gentlemen have. So other than Abita, which we're all drinking tonight at some point, and Parish, which we're all drinking tonight at some point.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some other breweries down in the Big Easy, if you will.
Well, the first one that comes to mind is NOLA.
NOLA. Okay.
Right. They're known for sours. Their best beers are their sours, I'd have to say.
Fair enough.
Matthew and I went there for lunch after the World War II Museum.
Not beer. Lunch.
Went for lunch, but I had beer.
Okay.
Well,
he went for Matthew went for lunch. You went for beer.
They're also a pizzeria.
Yes, you did tell me.
And the pizza's actually pretty good. But I imagine if you're going to really experience NOLA, you should probably not go like midday on a what day of the week was that? It was I forget what day of the week it was, but it was so damn quiet that there was really no no festive feel that a brewery usually has. So I would need to get back to it to really experience it.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely on the bucket list to get down to New Orleans.
There's a couple other breweries around it that we didn't get to.
NOLA was on my list to visit. Obviously, we wanted to get to Parish too. Abita is the big one. When we went, there were not as many microbreweries slash brew pubs.
Well, yeah, you said you were in there in what's 05, right?
Yeah, it was right around. I think it was 2005.
Yeah.
But of course, I've always loved Dixie Black and Voodoo. So the Dixie Brewery was not open. They had something going on. There was a shopping mall in the old Dixie Brewery, and I think they moved it. They relocated. No, I'm sorry, that wasn't Dixie. Dixie was still there, but we didn't get there. What was that? There was, there's another old American lager type. I can't think of. I can't remember, but that it was a big mega brew type brewery, and it wasn't anymore, and they had put them all in it. But Dixie was now. Dixie is. They changed their name, and now they're gone. Right now, their regular standard Dixie lager was again just another.
Yeah, and that they were bought by another. Well, they changed their name because they didn't want to be associated with Dixie anymore.
And then they closed down, right?
And then they closed down. But it was the hurricane that took them down.
Yeah, they were closed for the longest time, but they did reopen because they were on my radar too. Wanted to go see their new location. Of course, we went to Crescent City, which last time I checked, they were still open. That's a brew pub, and they were pretty good. I actually enjoyed the beers there. I went to another brew pub slash brewery outside the city that we had to take the trolley to get to. We stayed in the French Quarter. We parked the car, and we were there for like 5 days, and the car never moved the whole 5 days. It was great. We just walked around the French Quarter and took the trolley anywhere else we wanted to go. Walked to the downtown, but I can't for the life of me think of the name of that beer. But anyway, those are the biggest ones on my radar. If you go slightly outside over the border to Mississippi, Lazy Magnolia is a one I really enjoy, especially their Southern Pecan Brown Ale is really good.
Yeah,
but they do some good stuff too. They have like a Imperial IPA that's really tasty.
That's what it was. Dixie became Falberg.
Yes.
It became Falberg.
That's Dixie changed from Dixie to Falberg.
Falberg. Yeah. And the other one was something like Jack's or something like that.
That's what it was.
Right? It was Jack's. Okay, it was Jack's.
Jack's.
Because I'm looking at my Jack's Abbey Stein right there. I'm like, it can't be Jack's, could it? It was Jack's.
Jack's, yes.
Yes.
And of course.
JAX. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what it was. If you go to NOLA Brewing, just a couple blocks up is Miel Brewing, MIEL. And then further up the road is Urban South.
Urban South have had their beers too. They're actually very good from what the beers I've had. Yeah.
So, but the one I went to that I really, really enjoyed, and I really stressed that if you get to New Orleans, because it is one of those small breweries that, just kind of have a side room with just like whatever furniture they found by the side of the road tossed into it.
Yep.
They've got a small kitchen in the back that makes some noshes. The counter looks like it was made out of shipping pallets. It's one of those kind of like working man's breweries. One of those really, I love those types of breweries. Absolutely love those, and it's called Brew Carré.
Oh, you said you went there, yeah, Brew Carré. Well, we were talking to them, or you were trying to get a hold of them.
Yeah, they never got back to me.
Show, yeah.
But they're right by they're right off Frenchman Street. So they're right by the Jazz Museum. So it's they're right by Frenchman and Decatur. So if you get there, I recommend going there. Their beer pretty good. And it was the only place that I had any kind of like beer conversation with people from well upstate New York. I can't remember the city now.
In upstate New York?
Yeah, way up there. Just before you go through it, just before you go to, if you're going to Montreal.
Plattsburgh?
Plattsburgh, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
They're from Plattsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good conversation.
Yeah, when I was there, beer was really took a back seat to more robust stronger liqueur.
Oh yeah.
But daiquiris were the big things. There were daiquiri shops everywhere. And of course, for me, I was drinking a lot of Abita at the time, but I had only been down south for about 4 years. I came down here in 2001. So, but the first thing that hit me was the ability to get an Abita beer and in a plastic cup and walk out onto the street with it. Now, and I've been driving around in my car. They also had drive-throughs where you could go and you can get a daiquiri and a beer and
they still do,
and you can drive around with it and run people over in the French Quarter. That's
you gotta love it.
But
you gotta appreciate other cultures, right?
Yes. Oh, I'm not complaining. I thought it was great. I was just like, you would never do that in New England.
You never did it anywhere. I mean, where else would you do that?
You actually can do it in Savannah too, here in Georgia.
You can do it in Vegas.
Well, you can do anything in Vegas.
This is true.
That's true. It just has to stay in Vegas, but yeah.
Well, we're Brooke Harry. The first beer I ordered, I think it was a Schwartz beer. And then when I'm drinking that, and I didn't want to hold my son up at this brewery because he doesn't drink for that long. So I made him suffer through me drinking the one beer. I'm like, but I want another one because I noticed they had our Alk beer on. I'm like, wait a second. I can get it to go. It just like dawned on me, holy shit, I can get it to go. So I got one to go. And we walked back to our Airbnb from the brewery with we jumped into a bakery first because we weren't stuffed enough from the night before. But yeah, I think all we did was eat.
It's really great, and it's I can tell this story because in those days my wife drank, but I don't think she'll watch this. So if by chance you guys try and get me on the next show and I don't respond, it's because she did watch this.
It's because she did watch.
But I will tell you that
brave man.
This was the funniest thing was that she just we would not drink before noon, and she was very adamant that if you drink before noon, you are an alcoholic. But at 12:01 every day, she had a daiquiri in her hand, and the rest of the day, that's all we did. But yeah, that was to this day. In fact, today we were laughing about that. So
that's funny. That's great. Gotta love it. You know what? I mean, it's just amazing. Like you hear that. I mean, just think about. Well, I can't say that because it's happened, right? In Jersey, and I mean, I can't speak for anywhere else because we were all on lockdown during COVID, right? But,
oh yeah.
But in Belmar, New Jersey, you cannot walk around with an open container. Now, I will tell you this: this past Sunday, the first Sunday in March every year is Parade Day in Belmar. Okay, St. Patrick's Day Parade. It's Parade Day in Belmar. Belmar is, for all intents and purposes, the biggest St. Patrick's Day parade in New Jersey, mainly because it's the first one. Everybody wants to be involved, right? While it's not legal to walk around with an open container on Parade Day,
no,
But that aside, during COVID, they actually did pass a directive that since there were bars that wanted to open, and they were doing business with food, of course, they wanted to do liquor business, and nobody could go inside and drink. So they passed a law in town that says you could buy two and walk around and drink one and then drink another and then go back and get another two and drink one and drink another. So that has happened. There's precedent, right, because of COVID and all of that. But it's not something in Louisiana or in New Orleans that it needed COVID for it to happen. I mean, and plus we're talking a drive-through. Right. I mean, it's not a walk-up window. I'm sure there's any bar's a walk-up window. You go inside, get a beer or drink, and walk outside. That's fine. But a drive-through, you gotta love it.
Yeah, clearly you're not going to get busted for open container in New Orleans if you're riding around with alcohol.
You are not.
But I mean, it's like I said, when we went to Savannah, it was the same thing. So many streets up from the river, you could. We went to Moon River Brew Pub there, and
Moon River,
and that's what we sang walking around.
Of course.
But
using the whole fist stock. No, I'm sorry, that was
I'll take one to go. But actually, they do it here in Canton now, and it's only certain nights. But they'll block the downtown off for the first Friday of the month. We have the like a celebration and for other events. And we have a growler shop, and there's a small brewery downtown, and there's there's some halfway decent bars. And you can do the same thing. You can get a beer and walk around and during the events, and it's legal. And I never thought I would see it here in Georgia, but what started in New Orleans has come to Georgia and
has made it to Georgia.
Yeah.
Ambler, to northern Georgia.
Ambler, PA did the same thing. They shut downtown down.
Ambler?
Yep. And they did it for Oktoberfest. Their Oktoberfest. You can walk up and down Main Street.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I didn't know that.
With open container. Forest and Maine has got they've got a tent right on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Where you can walk up, they'll pour you a beer.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's true of any town that's having an event,
festival.
right?
Yeah.
Like we did it when it was with Defiant years ago. We Pro River Day. We had a booth out on the street, so people
talking about large St. Patrick's Day. That's a St. Patrick's Day parade.
That's the other thing too.
The largest.
Well, that's the other thing too, and John will tell you the largest St. Patrick's Day parade in the entire United States is in his state.
Yeah, Savannah, Georgia
is the largest St. Patrick's Day parade
Number 2
in America. Number 2 is Pearl River, New York.
Supposedly, New Orleans has a pretty good one because 2020, that's what we were going to do. We were going to go see the St. Patrick's Day parade. And I never thought of that associated with New Orleans, but they were touting it as, something that you really needed to see if you were in New Orleans that day. So
fair enough.
But again, we didn't get to do it, but another time.
Another time, yeah. Well, let me know when you're going again. We'll schedule our trip for that time too. So we'll invade it together.
There'll be nothing left of it.
There'll be nothing left.
There'll be no beer to drink.
Nothing.
That's right.
Brian Boak's on his second beer, so let's open ours. But he's for his second beer having Phase 3 Brewing Proper Trolleyed English Dark Mild. I have 2 of them on the way right now, so I'm looking forward to. Let me know what you think of that because I have 2 of them on the way.
Excellent style. Yeah.
Oh, I love an English Dark Mild. I could drink it all day, and hence why, it's 3.8%.
Yep. Okay.
Mr. Brew Guru, what is your second beer?
Mr. Brew Guru has flown the coop.
I think
I went over to my beer fridge.
He went over to his beer fridge.
We've lost the Brew Guru.
We lost him.
Not for long. And I have Weldworks and Parrish Extra Bayou Juice.
Extra Bayou Juice.
And what style is this?
Hazy Double India Pale Ale. If it's Weldworks and Parrish, it's going to be a New England style IPA. But it's actually a very good one. It was only canned, I think, in late January. And I bought a 4-pack of it. This is the 3rd can. I've only got 1 left. I bought it. Actually, my wife got it for me for our anniversary in mid-February. So
nice,
very nice.
Among other things, she made a fatal error and sent me to the growler shop with her credit card. And she's like, "Go get your anniversary present," and this was one of the things I bought. So
there you go. Gotta love it. Brian did say it's a very good version, so I'm looking forward to it. I got 2 on the way right now as we speak. So. Obviously from the same place he ordered his from. So.
That Tavor thing.
That Tavor thing.
That we warn people not to get involved in.
Exactly. But I cannot neither confirm nor deny that they may or may not be on the show soon.
Well, we'll see. In a Parish brewing glass.
Look
at him.
Look at you. All right. Samurai, what is your second beer?
I have got this one.
Turbo Dog.
This is a classic. This for the longest time was my favorite beer by Abita. It still might be.
Turbo Dog and Andy Gator go back and forth for me.
Yeah, and Andy Gator's got his variants. They like to play around with Andy Gator, and that's why Turbo Dog may not be my favorite anymore because there's been some variants on Andy Gator that are just some of the barrel aged Andy Gators are spectacular beers.
Yeah, the Andy Gators are really good. I like the just the straight up Andy Gator, but the last one I drank was
regular barley wine. I'm good with. That's I mean the variants are fantastic, but just give me the regular Andy Gator.
They did a blend, half Andy Gator, half Purple Haze, and that was terrible.
Yeah,
that sounds god awful. Yeah,
it was not good.
It's one of those beers where you're glad you bought a single.
Right.
So that was that. But I do love the
whoa.
dog. But their Christmas ale is really good too, and their pecan harvest ale in the fall.
Well, pecan harvest.
Pecan harvest, and that's what I thought I was going to be having, because I did remember having one left in the fridge from the fall in the back of the fridge, right? And when I went to look for it today, it wasn't there. And then the
smarter of the two of you.
lovely Jessica, the smarter of the two of us, reminded me that we had them. They're gone. So I'm like, I remember it being there. She remembers us drinking them. So obviously it's not there. So she's right. I'm drinking,
and she drank less apparently that night.
Apparently. So so for my second beer, it's I'm gonna connect this to Fat Tuesday. All right.
This should be fun to see how thin this connection is.
It's a very fine line and gray area. But since Samurai is drinking a brown ale in Turbo Dog, I figured I would drink Chuffy, a 5.3% brown ale from Bon Place.
I love Bon Place.
Bon Place Brewing is an amazing brewery. One of my favorite breweries in this particular town of Pennsylvania. And Dave, what is the name of this town in Pennsylvania?
Bethlehem.
Okay. See the connection to...
I'm still missing the connection.
Fat Tuesday's the day before Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday is religious. It's the beginning of Lent. Jesus was born in Bethlehem. There you go. There's my connection.
Wow.
This is
thinner than the hair on Staradumsky's head.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pretty damn sparse too. Yeah.
There you go. Well, either way, I'm drinking a good 5.3% brown ale. So there you go. Chuffy it is.
And me drinking a brown ale has really never any impact on John wanting to drink a brown ale.
Not so much.
But I'm drinking mine.
And I put it in proper glassware for the show. There you go.
Yeah, for one of our sponsors.
There you go.
Got to get John one of these pint glasses too. He's done 2 reviews on 2 beers so far, and I don't
with
get
a proper glassware.
Exactly.
So I'm using it in this glassware, and if you remember, the particular brewery this is from, John Fladon, is has an amazing brown ale.
Yes. Bed of Nails.
And that's it's. I remember sitting in the brewery. We're walking up the street, and it's like, oh, Highwire. They weren't really on my hit list, but we walked in because they were open.
South Slope.
Yep, South Slope.
Yep. You're walking up the hill coming from Burial.
Yep, absolutely. And wandered in there and ordered the Bed of Nails, and I think I immediately texted John, if you get to Asheville, do not skip Highwire.
No. We didn't skip Highwire, nor did I skip having 2 or 3 there and taking 2 4-packs of it home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have an excellent fest beer that they put out and I have a similar, because I was actually walking from Wicked Weed, and I was trying to find
the Funkatorium.
No, the Funkatorium hadn't been built yet.
Okay, so you're coming in from the north.
You're walking across from the other one.
Yeah, I was off trying to find. I can't even think of the brewery I was trying to find, but I just happened to stumble by Highwire. I'm like, you know what? I haven't had a beer in 5 minutes. Here's a
why not? Yeah.
And I was just bowled over by the beers at Highwire.
They're really good brewing. They're really good beer.
And we get them in Georgia and have for a long time, so I'm a regular customer of theirs. But.
Well, they have a tap room in Georgia somewhere, I believe. They've got a couple other tap rooms other than in.
Asheville. They have a few. Highwire has a few tap rooms.
There's one. I think is there one in Richmond now, or where is it?
There's a couple in Ohio. I think there's one in.
Is it Ohio?
Kentucky. Yeah, Ohio. I think they have a couple.
And they've got Charlotte, Knoxville, Nashville, Cincinnati, and Wilmington, North Carolina.
Cincinnati.
Oh, and Durham.
Okay.
Wow, they've really branched out.
Yeah.
They unfortunately got hit and flooded by the
not the South Slope location, the main production facility.
They
do production in the one on the South Slope, but the larger production facility that takes care of all the other tap rooms, that's the one that got hit.
Yeah, I think they're back online now, but
because that's literally across the street from the French Broad River.
And French Broad Brewing is down there too. That's another really great brewery in the area, which has a connection to New Orleans because they're both French broad French. Okay, so there we go. But
There you go.
but yeah, I just actually drank an excellent bourbon barrel aged barley wine from Highwire, and I have a Czech style pale lager from them too. So
nice. It sounds like your experience with Highwire was exactly my experience with Highwire.
And mine.
Yeah.
You're a couple. Well, I had told you before you went, so you at least knew about it.
I knew it was there. Yeah, I was alerted to its presence.
Whereas Brew Guru and I were just like wandering around and just hadn't had a beer in, like you said, 5 minutes.
5 minutes, right?
And the door was open. And the door was open.
We were coming down the hill. I forget. And it was let me find it. Hold on one second.
Were you coming from Small World?
No. Hold on.
That's a fun brewery in Nashville.
In my defense, there is a law in Nashville that if you haven't had a sip of beer in 10 minutes, they will arrest you. So
I've heard
it was
this.
very urgent.
We had just walked out of Asheville Brewing Company.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know. Well, I
didn't like their stuff.
I know you didn't. I had 2 beers there, but based on your review, I was choosy with what I had, and I picked right. So
good.
Asheville Brewing and Pizza, or
yes, and pizza. Yeah, the pizza place. So I walked out. I had grabbed the pizza while we were there, because we got to eat while we're drinking, right? And walked to the corner, and made a right, and
it's right there.
There's Highwire. So there you go.
Yeah, there's a big bar right on that corner.
Boomers.
Yeah, we didn't go into Boomers.
It's a bourbon and cigar bar. Yes, I did.
I'm sure you did. Carrie's not fond of either, so we did not go in.
Sorry.
But then again, I'm all cigars, so
this is
not willingly.
No, I got you. So, last cigars you gave to me.
This is true. You benefited.
I did. So anyway, this is fantastic. Bond Street does brew, not to be out of the Louisiana or New Orleans conversation, but Bond Street in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, PA. There's some good liquid up there. And Bond Street's definitely one of them. They have a lot of good beers up there.
Well, it's I forget what it is, but Carrie's got us signed up for a bus trip. It's for charity out to the casino,
right? Formerly the Sands, now it's something else. Yeah.
Something else now, but and John knows full well I don't particularly like casinos, so it's like, you have fun in the casino. I'm going to be wandering 10 blocks west because that's where Bond Place is,
right?
But there's another brewery also right close to there. I forget what it's called. It's supposed to be very good, as well as the distillery. So
yeah, the distillery is. I have a bottle of it right up here. It's a Social Still.
Social Still, right?
Social Still's the distillery, and whatchamacallit, the other. I gotta find it here. Where the hell is it? It's damn it, Country Club Brewing.
Country Club, that's it. Club hey, that would be a good name for brewery. Damn it Brewing.
Yeah. Wind Creek is the casino. That's what it is.
That's what it is now.
There are casinos downtown New Orleans. We went to Harris when we were there. I will say that the Harris Cherokee Casino has a wicked weed in it. Most of their breweries around here, their casinos around here, have a lot of craft beers from really good breweries. But since I like casinos and breweries, I've found that I try to spend more time in the brewery section than the casino section, because I found that a drinking problem is far more affordable than a gambling problem. So
yes, I imagine it would be.
Oh, it's funny too, because I bowl on Thursday nights, and there's wicked weed in the bowling alley that I brew in too. Not the beer. Well, not so much in the brewery as outside.
And you mean the bowling alley?
Brewery? Did I say brewery? Bowling alley.
Someone's got brewery on the brain.
I got brewery on the brain. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Casinos you're talking about. I actually spent some time, several hours actually, in Atlantic City this past Saturday, and did not go in one casino. I visited the
Seed.
Well, I visited Vagabond first for some beer and food. Then went to the Seed, and then went to Little Water Distilling,
which is right behind the Seed.
And
when you're done with those two, you can go in the same building around the corner and go throw axes.
Throw axes, yeah, exactly.
Because beer drinking and axe throwing, what better combination?
What better combination?
There are some places you can do both in the same facility.
Yeah.
Well, again, there's Ironmonger Brewery here in Georgia. They have, you go in the back of the entertainment area of the brewery and they have axe throwing going on. So.
It's like, and I get the whole thing with the axes going that way and nobody's this way, so that's fine. But what about the guy that goes like this and it goes behind him? Yeah.
Or the one who throws it so hard and flat that it bounces back.
And bounces back.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. I've had to dodge an axe or two.
I've been to beer fests where they have axe throwing at beer fest.
Brilliant.
Who knew?
The one thing I've never understood at craft beer festivals is when they set up a beer pong table.
Yeah.
Craft beer enthusiasts don't play beer pong.
Yeah.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
The beer
we like our beer without dirt from the ground.
Yes.
Not so much. Yeah.
We like our beer too much to be tossing a really disgusting ping pong ball into it.
Right? That's case in point. Potato. So anyway, all right. Let's talk about some food, and that'll bring us into something else. That'll bring us into food. Let's talk about some food. Now, there's obviously you think about Louisiana, you think about New Orleans, you think about Cajun food, right? And Cajun food, there's so much good Cajun food, and whatchamacallit, but there's also a lot of other, countries that inspire food that is in the Big Easy, right? Ethnicities. Thank you. Cultures. Thank you. So, and one of them we were talking about early in the show, muffaletta.
Yeah, the Italians.
And right. And so why don't you explain it a little bit more? Did you explain it at the beginning of the show, or what was
only
in it?
Only a little. Yeah, well, a little bit. What it is, it's a round bread. It's a crusty Italian kind of loaf, but it's round. It's about 9 inches around, anywhere between 8 to 10.
It's like a combination of this is the way I describe it, right? If you took a pizza bread loaf, like the round pizza bread, but it was like crossed with the focaccia loaf. A little bit. It's not. I mean, it's not that, but to describe it to somebody that doesn't know, it's a cross between the two of them.
Think of a Portuguese loaf.
Okay.
One of those big round Portuguese loaves. Mm-hmm. Think of it that way, but Italian, more like an Italian bread. Right. Sesame seeds on top, and they cut it. They cut it on the y-axis. Mm-hmm. For you mathematicians and geography.
And they don't cut it in half, and then no.
Yeah, no, it's that way.
They have this way. Right.
And then what happens is both the top and the bottom are brushed with olive oil.
Of course.
And then, as you saw at the top of the show, you could see the layered meats and cheeses. And the thing is, there's no set equation for the meats. It's almost always provolone and sometimes mozzarella as well. Mm-hmm. Mortadella seems to be the constant, but salami, capicola, sopressata, ham. You can go with any of those. Some people do pepperoni. So any kind of combination that you will ever see on an Italian hoagie, grinder, sub, whatever you want to call it. I said grinder for John Staradumsky, because an Italian name. Yes. The Italian grinder. The Italian grinder actually is its own thing because that is an equation. They don't mix up the meats.
Because I had a great uncle who was an Italian grinder, but
that's oddly enough he didn't have children. But so any kind of combination of meats that you can use on an Italian sub is the combinations you can use on a muffaletta. But the thing that makes it the muffaletta for the most part is that olive salad. Yeah. That's the black olives, the green olives, the giardiniera, capers, roasted red peppers. Then you put in some parsley, black pepper, and get a little olive oil in there. And you get that all chopped up together and mixed up together. And that gets spread on the top layer of meat or cheese, whatever you end up with. Mm-hmm. Or you spread it on that top piece of bread, and then really quickly do that, and then clean up all the olive salad you got all over the place from doing that.
Right.
But then
I clean it up with my hands and then.
Oh yeah, that's what I was doing.
Eat it. Yeah.
But then what you do is when you build it, I had it already on the plastic wrap. You wrap it in plastic.
Plastic.
and then I've got a cast iron pan. Put that on top of it. Put a couple of cans of tomatoes on top of that to weigh it down. So what you want to do is for a couple of hours compress that all together. It makes the sandwich stay together a little better, but it also seeps all the flavors into one another. So that's how you make a muffaletta.
If you don't have, and if you don't have any, once you put the cast iron pan on top of it, if you don't have any tomato cans, you can sit on the pan.
Yeah, or you can use books or a small child in its carrier. It's got to be in the carrier because the small child will just crawl away, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Hate when that happens.
Just make sure that the child's freshly changed before you do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because that would
It's extra flavor, but that's what the plastic wrap's for.
a shitty situation.
They are everywhere in New Orleans. I
Small children.
Small children sitting on pans with muffaletta. I remember we had a very good one just from a corner convenience store that had a little deli in it. And the wife and I bought one and split it, and it was very good. It wasn't a small child; it was.
Your wife and I bought a small child.
Yes,
and split it.
Well, it's funny because my brother used to live in New Orleans, and so I told him, like, well, where can I get the best this, the best that? So he's given me all these places, but my brother...
Half of them aren't there anymore because he moved out years ago.
No, it's not that. Half of them I can't afford to eat at because most of the time, he travels for work and he's eating on the company dime. So it's like a lot of the stuff is like really expensive, or it's like too much fusion and fancy because my brother likes fancy foods. And so Matthew and I wound up going to a place called Napoleon House. And I had heard they had a good muffaletta there. And so we went there for muffaletta and jambalaya. Mm-hmm. And, they're also known for the Pim's Cup. Apparently it was invented at Napoleon House. And they're also very well...
Tell everybody what a Pim's Cup is.
Yeah. What?
Why don't you tell everybody what a Pim's Cup is?
Pim's is a liqueur. Mm-hmm. And they do it with... I don't remember the flavor of the liqueur in Pim's. Any clue?
Let's find
so what
out.
they do is they mix it with there's some mixers, and then there's I believe it is like Sprite or 7-Up or something like that it get mixed, and it's very refreshing.
So gin-based liqueur with clear citrus soda, fruit, and mint.
Yep. So there it is.
There you go.
And it's really nice. But also they make a damn good Sazerac right there as well.
Oh, of course.
So I start off with the Sazerac, got the Pim's Cup. But it's funny because when I'd order the Pim's Cup, I'd send a picture of the bar to my brother, just the bar. And he's like, "Oh, you're at Napoleon House." I'm like, "Yes." He goes, "Did you get a Pim's Cup?" I'm like, "It's on its way. I just finished my Sazerac." And then I took a picture of the muffaletta. He had told me about 3 or 4 other places to go to get a muffaletta. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's actually a damn good choice." He hadn't told me that one, but we found it. We went there, and it was a damn good muffaletta. I got to tell you that.
There you go.
We went there right after the Museum of Death.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah. So if you're squeamish, do not go into the very back side of it where the Theater of Death is. And all this is just, it's all footage from crime scenes, raw footage.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you're squeamish and you don't want to see stuff like that, don't go to the museum in the first place, first of all. But definitely don't go into the back room.
There you go.
By chance, do they have a photo of a 5-year-old death by king cake in there?
Not that I'm aware of.
No? Okay.
Well, this is a Museum of Death, right? It's Death by King Cake.
It's a Museum of Death, right?
But we didn't sit through the whole video. We sat there. We probably watched about 15
You
minutes.
missed it. You missed the Death by King Cake.
We may have missed that part of it, yes.
Makes sense now. There you go. All right. Interject. I got a question for John, but interject Brian's comment. He said char grilled New Orleans oysters. That's his input into this particular conversation.
His contribution.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have had. Have either of you had barbecued or char grilled oysters before?
I have not. I have.
Fantastic.
I have
so good. Even if I have to tell you, I do like oysters. I don't love oysters. I like clams a lot better than I like oysters, but I do enjoy a really good oyster. Like they're just run of the mill. I'm like,
I love fried oysters. In fact,
but
when we went to Acme, of course, Acme Oyster House, and had fried oyster poor boy. The wife had shrimp, but yeah, fried oysters and Guinness is a favorite.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
But barbecue, char grilled, smoked oysters, fantastic.
I've never done it with oysters,
and the texture. It's
not a snot anymore.
Not at all. You wouldn't even realize it's. But it's not like anything else either. It's so velvety. It's really, really weird. In a really good way. Like
I have smoked mussels in the past. Mussels become very buttery in flavor when you smoke them. They're absolutely delicious. And I remember
it's similar with the oysters then at that point. Yeah.
I remember we had 3 dozen mussels, and I was smoking the mussels, and my older son and I were out back, quality control, of course. And I think of the 3 dozen, I think 7 made it into the house.
Now, when you smoke them, do you use a match or a lighter to get it started?
Well, you got to put them in a pipe.
Okay, all right.
You got to put in a pipe, and you really need one of those.
I use a bong, really. I mean, they fit in the bong better.
Okay.
Depends on what size pipe you got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I use a torch. I use a good cigar torch. Is gonna work well for that. But
yeah, that'll light them. That'll
light them good. Up. Exactly. John, you're. I mean, not to get into our top 3 list right now, but food-wise, any input when you were there? We're back in 2005.
No, like I said, we had a muffaletta for lunch one day from a little deli. We went to Acme Oyster House. I do love poor boys. Cafe Du Monde. We went and had beignets.
You have to.
And their coffee, which is coffee chicory blend, right?
Sure.
And that was a great morning, and just everything tasted. Of course, we were on vacation. It was so good. I had jambalaya at Crescent City Brew House, and that was really tasty. And that's one of my favorite Cajun dishes. I'm a big fan of red beans and rice, though. I love red beans and rice.
I love red beans and rice. Like really, 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 really love red beans.
I could just eat that.
Red beans and rice.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't miss her.
Yeah.
No, it's. I mean, it's simple, but it's one of those dishes that if you get. When I make it at home, I'll make rice, and then I'll buy what's the brand? I can't think of the brand, but I probably got a can in the closet, and they're New Orleans red beans, and they're smoky.
Oh, okay.
And they're really good. They're a little pricey. They're $3 or $4.
I'm trying to think of it too. I get them too. The New Orleans red beans. I get them. I can't think of the name of it,
but you mix those with some freshly boiled rice, and it's really, really good.
So I'm a big fan of dirty rice.
Dirty rice is good too. I like red beans and rice better than dirty rice.
I like dirty rice better.
But now, John, it was the Atlantic Oyster House.
Acme
Oyster House. Now, have you been to the Union Oyster House though?
In Boston?
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's definitely a favorite of mine. Finish up in the North End, walk back down, get to the Union Oyster House, and then go over to the oldest tap room in. Well, I mean, everybody has the oldest tap room in the country, right? But the oldest tap room in Boston, of course. What is it? Oh, geez.
It's the oldest tavern.
Bell in Hand.
Okay, because the oldest tap room in the States is actually in Rhode Island.
Right.
It's in Newport. It's White Horse.
White Horse, yeah.
Yeah, White Horse. Or were you thinking, because I just Googled it up, Blue Runner beans or Trappies?
Neither. For me, anyway. I don't know about John.
No.
No.
Have not been there.
No. For the red beans.
For the red beans.
Oh, sorry. I started losing you guys because my connection. We're actually having storms coming through tonight.
So
they're making their way up this way tomorrow too. So
yeah,
there's three brands here that I see. Blue Runner is one of them. Trappies is another, and then there's Raging Cajun.
No, I think it's the first one. The blue. I know I got one in my closet there, but it definitely is blue something.
Tell you But the beignets that you're talking about, the Cafe du Monde, did you sit down and get table service, or did you do the walk
outside,
up?
out in the patio? Yep, we did.
Yeah, we did the walk up. Matthew and I were very, very lucky because every place that we went, we go there, line wouldn't be too long, and then by the time we had moved like 2 or 3 people, the line was like 12 times longer than it was when we got online.
When you got online, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. We were like the 6 people online at Cafe du Monde. By the time we got to the front, there was at least 25 people behind us.
They do get crowded.
Yeah,
it's a tourist trap, right? But it's a good one.
It's a necessary evil. You got to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you got to go. And it's the what it's like. It wasn't expensive whatsoever either.
No, it wasn't. It was reasonable. It was right around the corner from the street market. We went to we went shopping there right after we went.
It's only 6 stores down from Central Market, where the original Muffaletta. It's only about six or 7 stores. Maybe it's a little further away, but it's Central Market. You just make a right out of the Cafe du Monde, keep going, and it's down there on the left.
Yeah, and of course we brought home cans of the coffee and
I was going to do the same, and then like and I was hoping to bring some beer back, but I never got to a point where there's any beer that
that's what you said that, right? It was you didn't bring the coffee because you were hoping to bring beer back, and then you never brought beer back.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Rod J just commented in. He said, "Cheers, fellas."
Hey, cheers, Rod.
Hey, Rod.
Cheers, Rod. And he said, "Love New Orleans, great fun city, love the culture and food." Yes, absolutely.
Oh, the food. And
happy Mardi Gras, Rod.
Happy Mardi Gras. The one of the things that Matthew and I did, and I love to do this, where you kind of find like the local dive, where there's a line to eat at.
Right. And
there's a place that was out west of the city, not too, off the river, and it was called Today's Catch. And it was one of those seafood places where it's a seafood counter, but they're also making stuff, frying or boiling or whatever, and there's a little room off to the side where you can go sit down and eat. While we were there, there was a family, and the family's all sitting around, and they got themselves a big thing of bugs. They've got crawfish, and they are, they're pinching the tail and sucking the head.
Yep.
And they're just tearing through these things. But Matthew and I, we both got po' boys. Matthew got the catfish po' boy, and I got the crawfish po' boy. And then what's the interesting thing is po' boy down in New Orleans really just means the same thing as sub, hero, grinder.
Yes.
It's because up here, most people just associate it as some sort of fried food as a fried seafood as a sub.
Right.
But there are roast beef po' boys, turkey po' boy.
It's a sandwich.
It's just a
sandwich, but the name has its origin in one of the local sandwich shops. There was a strike going on. I don't know if it was the rail car operators or the trolley car operators, but they were on strike, and the establishment created a sandwich, sold it to them cheap because they didn't have a lot of money, called it a po' boy. It was for the po' boys, and that's where the name came from.
That's po' boys.
Yeah, they've been po' boys ever since.
Yeah.
You're right. You can put different things in them, and other than that, it's just good French bread with lettuce and mayo and what have you. But
that's some sort of aioli, if you will, and then a protein.
That's if you get it dressed.
If you get dressed,
it's called dressed.
The only annoying thing at Acme Oyster House was this damn coyote kept coming in,
smacking you with
what was her name?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think Wiley was his name.
Wiley was his name. Yeah. And well, Acme Oyster House. Yeah, right. Rod J just commented on again. He said, "Happy." I'm assuming
Mario Gras.
This is autocorrect.
I'm hoping that's auto. Other than that, there's a story.
Happy Fat Mario.
That might be
Fat
it.
Mario.
He might have a friend named Mario who's fat.
Fat Mario.
And he's just giving the shout out. Who knows? You never know with Rod.
There you go. Happy Mario Gras.
Foie Mario. Okay.
Foie Mario. I gotta love it.
Foie gras.
Happy foie gras. All right.
Speaking of liverwurst,
are we moving on to our thirds? What are we doing?
I don't know about we. I have.
John is going to get his. I'll pour mine. We'll wait for John and do it accordingly.
I'm gonna take my picture with John absent.
I'm gonna take your picture.
Just like we lost the brew guru again.
We lost the brew guru.
Oh, excuse me. That was a good burp.
You always need a good burp every now and then.
No, but oh man, I had what was it? It was clam and shrimp chowder at this place.
Clam and shrimp chowder.
It was absolutely delicious. Matthew got the gumbo because he's like, if I'm going to New Orleans, I want gumbo. Mm-hmm. He got the gumbo. I'm like half and half with gumbo because I don't particularly like okra. And if they use okra to thicken it, I'm not a fan. But if they just use the gumbo fee, then okay. Then I can do gumbo. And the gumbo they made there was with the gumbo fee.
Now, what do you call an average gumbo? You say it's mediocre.
Mediocre.
Oh,
not being a fan.
These are the jokes, folks.
Of okra.
I'll be here all week. Try the veal.
There's a vegetable with their own talk show, right?
Go ahead.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey, right? Yeah, there you
go. Yes, he's here all week. Try the veal po' boy.
Try the veal po' boy. There you go. I love it. So, John, what are you drinking for your?
So I obviously got to have an Abita. So I have an Abita. This is actually an 8%. So it's one of their stronger beers, but it's a Dauberge Cake Stout.
Nice.
And I've got a Turbo Dog glass. But
very nice. That's a cool glass.
Yeah, it actually is. It was like this came from Goodwill too for 99 cents.
Gotta love that.
Yeah. But I love Abita.
Bought a few that way. Bought a few glasses that way.
I go there all the time. And
young children.
Great beer glasses. Cheap. But
yeah.
But yeah, Abita's like when I think of New Orleans, when I think of Louisiana, of course they're outside of New Orleans, right? They're But
they're by Lafayette, right? Out that way.
Abita Springs.
Oh, Abita. I'm thinking. I'm looking at my beer and
Abita's in Abita. Abita's in Abita Springs.
Yeah, he's right.
Directly across Lake Pontchartrain from New Orleans. Right.
They're across the lake. But I mean, even in Rhode Island, I was drinking Abita beers, and they're ubiquitous then. But but they really branched out and they put out a lot of really great stuff. When I had a Fluffernutter, Abita Fluffernutter, not long ago, which I always thought of Fluffernutter as a New England thing, right? Not a other thing, but it was an interesting beer.
Never had it.
It's funny.
Was it a stout or?
What was it? No, I don't think so. I think it was more like a blonde ale because it was peanut and
marshmallow.
Okay.
Yeah, marshmallow. I put a review of it on my website.
It's funny because when I lived in Rhode Island, someone who worked for me from Massachusetts, just across the border, and said, "Oh, there's something you got to try that you're going to think it's crazy, but it's a big New England thing, and it's when you take this stuff called marshmallow fluff and you put peanut butter together." I'm like, "You mean a Fluffernutter?" She's like, "You've heard of it?" I'm like, it's not just a New England thing. That's like all over the place.
Kind of all over kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, it is. The fluff is from New England. It did originate in New England.
It started though.
And when I moved down here, most people didn't know. It was like a bubbler. What the hell is that? Right?
He became Max.
Like, what?
There was a Max Headroom moment there.
Yeah, I was going to say. I was thinking the same thing. You became Max Headroom there for a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's probably my connection.
The storms are coming through.
Because the storms going.
Storms are coming.
But another Fluffernutter story from Rhode Island is the guy who lived above me, who I nicknamed the Centaur, for many reasons.
Yeah.
Hey,
he made many an appearance on this show early on.
But he was he smoked the dankest weed ever. It was so damn dank that it actually seeped down through the floorboards. Mm-hmm. And it was one morning, it was one night at 2 a.m. that I realized that it was impacting me because I'm in my kitchen, butt naked, making a fluffernutter. So it's like, yeah, I'm getting contact high.
I would say it's a little bit more than contact high and contact.
That was the reason you were
exactly
making a fluffer.
Quite literally.
Oh man. But yeah, that stuff was coming down and it would just linger.
So Samurai, what is your...
No, you go first this time, considering.
All right. Well, it's the same beer.
Exactly.
Right? All right. So Dave and I are drinking the same beer. We are drinking a Parish product, but it is not an IPA. It is a coffee stout.
That's very good.
The Rev Coffee Stout.
Yeah, that's very good.
That's fantastic.
Rev, which is French for dream.
Dream. Yes.
Dream, yeah.
It is, and that's what I was thinking when you talk about where Abita was. It's Parish that's out by Lafayette.
Yes,
yep. They're the ones out by Lafayette.
So I got to say this. All right, now I don't. Here's the thing. I haven't tasted this beer yet. Okay? All right, and I'm not getting in the glass, but in the bottle I am. Have either of you and anybody out there listening? Stop. Anybody out there listening? Ever had a Manhattan Special coffee soda? It's made in Brooklyn, and it makes its way around, right? It's not just a New York and New Jersey thing. I mean, it's concentrated here, sure, but it's out and about. I mean, it is distributed far and wide. But anyway, if you ever have,
I'm sure it's no coffee milk.
It's not. If you ever have, all right, the aroma of Manhattan Special coffee soda, I'm getting that right out of the bottle here.
It's in the
it's evoking my memories of this particular product, and this brings me back years. This just brings me back to my childhood. I had this, and I still have it today. I'll still pick up a bottle or two here and there. But my father used to bring home cases because my mother loved it. So there was always plenty of Manhattan Special coffee soda in the house.
Well, you know that some stouts can throw a cola, and
sure.
this particular stout is throwing cola.
Right. And it's a coffee, so there you go.
Yeah. And I find that happens a lot more with coffee stouts throwing cola. So,
you know what?
It's yummy though. It does taste like.
It is. This is this is really good. It's a very good stout, and there are cola notes, but in a good way. This is really good. It's got that flavor of the coffee soda. This is. Like I said, the cola notes they're not off-putting.
No,
right?
not at all.
They're
where many times there are, but I think it's the coffee that balances out those cola notes.
It's really good. I'm really liking this. So, cheers to Parish. There you go.
Yeah, Parish. I'm pretty sure I had that on tap at Taco Mac. That was the first place.
I love it.
I don't.
I hope people are actually watching the show on video to see John go Max Headroom on us.
Because that one right there, that wasn't even Max Headroom. That was just slowed down. He's like, I had that on tap at Taco Mac.
Come back here.
That was exactly that was actually not my internet. That was my impression of Too Many Beers.
Gotcha.
Oh, I gotta love it.
Yeah.
I gotta love it. All right. So I think let me just put that timing in there because that's definitely an open or in the running for the open. That's it. Max Headroom Taco Mac. Anyway, okay. So I think it's time.
Did you see Rod's comment on the Happy Mario Gras?
I did not. Yes. Oh, my bad. I Luigi'd
it. This is what happens. This is what happens when you deny Rod's claim.
There you go. Gotta love it. Thanks, Rod. That's great. And Brian also commented too. He said, I am going to the kegerator so I don't drink all of my Tavor beers. Monster Mash Imperial Stout.
There we go.
That is one damn good Imperial Stout there, sir.
Yeah. With no
Who
cola.
makes that?
We got Brian.
Oh, that's right.
Brian makes it.
So we got to get Brian. We got to get John a bottle of that. So
yeah, a bottle.
Love the name. That's
and Rod's watching too, so we got to get him a bottle too.
Did Bobby Boris, as far as the name is concerned, did Bobby Boris pick it?
I'm not sure. Well, Brian's old enough to know Bobby.
Yep, Brian's old enough. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Bobby Boris Pickett is the guy that sang.
Bobby Boris Pickett, exactly. Yeah. So he did the mash.
Now it's my turn. Tough crowd. Okay.
He did the monster mash. All right, folks. Let us now move to our top 3 list of the week. Top 3 list of the week this week is top 3 favorite foods associated with the Big Easy. Top 3 favorite foods associated with the Big Easy. We originally were going to say Cajun foods, but we wanted to be more inclusive of other, like as we've been talking about, other ethnicities influencing foods in New Orleans and
country people stuff.
Exactly. So, top 3 favorite foods associated with the Big Easy. John, please start us off.
Well, number 3, of course, would be beignets and coffee at Café du Monde. The coffee, the chicory adds a little bit of a grassy character to it, I think, and it really is delicious. Of course, they serve it thick with cream. And with the soft, pillowy beignets, it was enough to overcome our brutal hangovers, even, and we really enjoyed it.
Just don't be wearing anything dark when you go, because you're going to be covered in powdered sugar.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
So you like the beige nuts?
I did. Yes.
You like the beige nuts?
They were beige nuts. Were like
beige nuts are amazing. There.
But only
beige nuts in his mouth.
You got to have that coffee and a hangover. Yeah. But,
there you
go. But I do love oyster po' boys. That's number 2. Of course, not just in New Orleans.
Fried or raw?
Fried. Got to be fried.
I'm
not a raw oyster fan.
There's no such thing as raw oyster. I hope there's no such thing as a raw oyster.
I agree with you. Like I said before, I'm very, very good, well curated raw oysters. I will eat. I will enjoy them. But yeah, I'm more of the cooked oysters fan. But continue. Sorry.
And then my top is jambalaya. It's got to have, and it's because it's got to have lots of shrimp. It should have minimal chicken. It should be spicy, but it should have some really good andouille sausage in it.
Absolutely.
For me, the andouille is I would pick andouille as my number 1, but why? I can have it with other shrimp and
you can exactly. You can have it. You get it with other things. There you go.
So it's really, really good that way, and so
fair enough.
That's my top.
Samurai, it is yours.
My number 3 is his number 1, the jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
It's got to remember, this is basically the New Orleans version of what you call it? Oh my God! I just lost
the New Orleans version of Oh My God.
Of Oh My God, paella.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
I never thought of it that way, but sure.
But it absolutely is. It's born out of paella. It was paella was brought over there, and they didn't. Really not a lot of saffron in New Orleans back in the day. They had their spices they used. They kicked it up to their level of spiciness, and you get jambalaya. And that's really what it is.
You know the origin story of jambalaya, right?
Hit us.
Because John Fogerty couldn't make a song out of paella.
And it's all about John Fogerty.
Yeah.
But no, I agree.
And he was down on the corner when he was writing it.
Yeah, it was.
But
there was a bad moon rising.
It was.
But when you're done, there's a bathroom on the right.
There's a bathroom on the right. Yeah.
Because you're gonna need it.
You're gonna need it.
But I agree 100% with John. It has to have shrimp. It has to have andouille. If it doesn't have andouille, now tomorrow Carrie's actually going to be making jambalaya. She was in the city working today, so she's going to make it for today. But she's got andouille sausage for it, and John, are you reading the comments? Sorry.
No, I'm typing.
Bokes made me. I'm sorry, Brian Biax, according to his.
There he goes. There he goes. First, he said, "I bottled 2 cases of it," and then he said, BX beer. So
You misspelled his own last name. I love when
Folks
that
beer.
happens.
So we know how it's spelled. Right, there you go. And charred grilled oysters, jambalaya, and topless women for beads. There you go. Now, which one is the number one? We know. Never mind.
Which this is food. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yeah. So that's I agree 100% with John Staradumsky, and that Brew Guru is 100% correct. And throwing chicken in it doesn't hurt. And to me, jambalaya is just really kicked up dirty rice. Absolutely love it. My number 2 is the muffaletta. There's something about it. Like I said, it's the New Orleans version of the Italian sub, but that olive salad makes all the difference in the world. And I'm not one of those people that'll sit there and just pop olives in my mouth. I'm not a big fan of that. But you make the olive salad, put this on the sandwich, and damn, that's a good thing.
I am.
Yeah, I know you.
I eat olives all day long.
So you need a muffaletta. And my number 1, because I do have that sweet tooth, are the beignets.
Beige nuts.
Give me this. My son and I are both, because we went to the window and got it. I got the chicory coffee, and we're walking up the street, and it was windy, so every now and then we had to turn our back to keep from being totally covered in powdered sugar.
So it's, since it's my 3 and you're 1, basically you like beige nuts in your mouth more than I do. Okay.
Yeah, yes, I do.
Okay.
Especially when you're washing it down with something dark and foamy.
With a hangover.
Dark and foamy. There you
go. Oh, and by the way, John, there is in New Jersey.
Which one?
Staradumsky. You know this already. In New Jersey, there is a coffee roastery called Rook Coffee. As a matter of fact, before you came on the show, my phone
they're right over here.
Yeah, they're very close to John. Fledam. But Rook Coffee actually does do a New Orleans blend. And it's actually really, really.
You're right.
Really,
They do.
Really. We have him on subscription. We have the New Orleans blend coffee on subscription. I love it. I love it. It's so good. It's my favorite coffee that they have. So, and they ship it. So, if you're looking for another good chicory coffee, that's a good one right there.
I love chicory coffee. I do.
Love good coffee.
Oh yeah,
I like good coffee.
I'm a serious coffee snob.
I'm a coffee.
There's a roastery up the road from me, Ball Ground, and they do a bourbon barrel aged coffee where they take green unroasted coffee beans and they soak them in bourbon barrels or age them in bourbon barrels, and then they roast them, and they're just like,
oh wow,
it's like a cup of coffee with a shot of whiskey in it, but get you drunk.
That would be cool. That'd be also cool if they took them, roasted them, and rather than grind them into coffee, made them chocolate covered coffee beans.
Ooh, that's an idea.
Oh
yeah, they got to do something like that.
I like that.
We need to talk to them.
We should have a little convo.
Maybe I actually go there. My daughter bought me. My daughter bought me some of it for Christmas, and I haven't been up there. But next time I'm in Ball Ground, I'm going to go check them out.
And bring up that idea to him. Tell him the samurai says you need to do that.
Samurai said so.
I will.
And they're like, ooh,
I will.
Need to do that now.
There you go.
If you do these, he will show you the tattoo on his leg.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Of himself.
Of my alter yes.
Alter ego.
Yeah.
There you go. So, well, on the show promo photo for the show tonight, there's a picture of me, there's a picture of John, and there's a picture of his tattoo.
Well, the tattoo is.
There has not been ever, and this is the 219th show, and we've done about 12 or 15 special shows too over the years. Mm-hmm. There has never been one promo graphic that had Samurai's face on it. It's always been the logo.
There's a reason for that. It's when Samurai was first born, per se. It was its own Facebook profile, as a matter of fact. But I would never ever put my face on any of the pictures on that profile. One of the reasons
he didn't want anybody to know who he was.
there was that, but the other thing is, usually when you are like known in the Facebook world, podcast or whatever that, and you show up someplace and you're recognized, they like to kind of give you stuff, and that embarrasses me. I don't like it. So I'd never traveled and said, hey, I'm the beer samurai, give me stuff. I know people that do stuff like that. I don't like that. And John and I have the same mind. We're here to support the industry, not leech off of it.
Yeah.
So I never liked that. So I would never put my face there because I never want to be recognized while I was out. John, I ever tell you the first place, Jersey Johnny, the first place I was ever recognized?
Yeah. Go ahead, say it. I remember it, but I can't think of it.
It was the very first beer dinner that Cloverleaf did.
Oh, at Cloverleaf. Yeah. They're yeah.
And they were doing it with the Ale Street News. Mm-hmm. And some editors from the Ale Street News were there. Mm-hmm. And the server comes up to me and goes, are you the beer samurai? And my head snapped up. I looked at him, and after a while I realized I've obviously paused far too long to deny it now, haven't I? and the people from Ale Street News were like, you're the beer samurai? They knew who I was. Like, see, this is why I don't like being outed. It's like I don't.
Was it Tony and Jack were there, or
no? Remember when they had those two bodybuilders? It was one of the bodybuilders.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
It was one of the bodybuilder. I can't remember their names. They were weird names though, because they were like Slavic names, I believe. But yeah, that was. And then Brian Cass outed me once.
Of course. Well,
jackass.
All right, my top three. Here we go.
Your top.
All right. I'm going to make one honorable mention.
Go for it.
I do love gumbo, but I couldn't put it in my top three,
right? Because
these three are definitely my top three.
Solid
top three. So, but it had to be mentioned because it's my 3B.
Okay.
It's or 2B or 3B, whatever you want to call it. Right?
Or not 2B.
Or not 2B, right?
Well, that is the question.
That is the question. Exactly. So gumbo is definitely there, and unlike samurai, I don't love okra, but I don't hate okra. I'll eat it. I do love gumbo. I like a good soup, and gumbo is definitely a good hearty. I love it. Right. So anyway, my top three. My number 3 is muffaletta. Yeah, it is. And depending on the day, it might move up to 2 or 3, 2 or 1. But I mean, it wouldn't move up to 1 because 1 is a solid 1. But it could flip flop with 2. Today, it's the number 3. My number 2, shrimp po' boys. Mm-hmm. I could eat a shrimp po' boy. I've never had an oyster po' boy, by the way. Now, obviously we're talking fried oysters. Po'
have you had a crawfish po' boy?
Yes. I have not. I've never had a crawfish po' boy either. So, but shrimp po' boys, I love shrimp. I love shrimp po' boys. I could eat, if you put me in a place that's making a really good shrimp po' boy, bring me one. I'll eat it before I finish that one. As long as you bring it out before I finish the first one, bring me out a second one, I'll just go right into the second one. If you bring me out one before I finish the second, I'll just keep eating it. Well, if you let me pause for 5 minutes after finishing one, then I'm done. But as long as I can keep going, I'll just eat them all day. Right.
Here's the thing about these 3 po' boys that we just mentioned. It's all about the seafood to breading ratio, where the crawfish is the smallest, then up to the shrimp, and then up to the oyster. The oysters are going to be your bigger ones in there more than likely, depending what size shrimp they use. But usually they use those little small shrimp.
I like a little bit bigger. I don't like big shrimp in it, but I like a little bit bigger. But it depends on where you get them too. They put more shrimp on them, so you could get a bigger shrimp po' boy than an oyster po' boy.
I'm not talking about the size of the po' boy. I'm talking about the size of the
shrimp,
seafood to the coating.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
Right, because the smaller they are, the more coating you're going to have.
Right. Of course.
Ratio to the seafood. So with crawfish,
and crawfish are tiny. So yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, and my number 1 is Brew Guru's number 1. It's jambalaya, and there's a little extra I need to say on top of the jambalaya, andouille.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Andouille, and there's.
Andouille and Dewey and Dewey. Right.
And Huey and Louie.
And
Huey and Louie.
There's a festival that happens in New Jersey, northern New Jersey, early every June. It's the Crawfish Festival. Mm-hmm. And you can get jambalaya, you can get gumbo, you can get what's the other Cajun stew that none of us mentioned?
Other Cajun stew.
Yeah, there's another one. What the heck's it called? But you can get that etouffee. That's
etouffee.
But the one thing that I got there was the alligator andouille. Oh, that was so good. That was really, really spicy.
Well, we get a lot of you got gumbo, you got alligator, you got jambalaya. Is the Belmar Seafood Festival that you come down to every year that we go to?
I've been there once.
You've been there.
Last one. I was there at the last one.
You've been there twice. The last 2 years you've been here.
Have I been there twice?
Yeah, I've been there. The last 2 years you've been here.
I've never had an alligator po' boy. I've had gator. The first time I had it was in Shreveport on the way to Dallas, and it really did taste like chicken. The texture was a little different, but the flavor,
slightly different. I mean, it's noticeable if you're thinking about it, but if you're just eating it, you don't notice it.
Yeah,
and it does.
It was good.
Did you hear the?
It was they served it with a remoulade. It was fried gator.
We have a place literally right. It's like 6 blocks from me. It's called Raging Cajun, and they have a ton of cake. They have great jambalaya. They have great gumbo. They have great. And the alligator and we have it. Well, I'll have alligator this coming Sunday, because it's the Dine in Belmar, and we're going around, and they always have it, and that's one of the places we'll stop at. But they always have a big booth at the Seafood Festival. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you know? Have you heard the theory as to?
I wasn't done. I'm sorry. I just.
Well, there's a theory as to why all these things taste like chicken.
Why?
All the things that taste like chicken are descended from dinosaurs. So it's not everything tastes like chicken. Everything tastes like dinosaur.
Everything tastes like dinosaurs. But we don't say that because there's not anybody who's ever actually tasted it.
There's not anybody living right now that has actually tasted a dinosaur.
Yeah. So. It's the descendants of dinosaurs that we're familiar with. So
that's what we're eating.
Interesting. I like this theory.
Yeah. It
makes sense.
It's undisprovable. It's something like that.
It's a double negative, is whatever that is.
I
turned into Columbo there for a second. Hold on.
Right. Turned into gumbo there for a second, did you say?
Columbo.
Columbo for a second. So anyway.
Columbo. That's Columbo. That's who you become on Mardi Gras.
Exactly. All right, John. What's on the horizon for BrewGuru.com or for that matter, Honest Craft Beer Reviews on Facebook? What do you got?
Pretty much the same. Just trying new beers, and enjoying the old favorites. And this month I'll be heading down to Decatur. That's the plan. March 14th. Yeah. My birthday. Yay! But kids always take me out somewhere, and we're planning to go to Decatur.
We will say 2 years ago on the show, your birthday was actually the day of the show. So we said happy birthday to you on the show. But we'll say happy birthday next week to you on the show.
Oh, well,
we'll say happy birthday to you now. Happy birthday. But we'll say happy birthday to you on the show next week.
And while we're at it, I need to.
You're gonna be 32, right? 32.
21. And so
again.
You're finally
have my first legal beer. Yes. But go to the Brick Store, which is in my opinion, one of the best. It's definitely the best beer bar in Georgia. I do love Taco Mac. Taco Mac is like your neighborhood pub, and there's a lot of them. And they have 100 since COVID. A lot of them have slimmed down the draft list a little bit, but they're all pretty close to 100 taps. Great wings and pub food, and I've got one a mile and a half from my house, which is great. But for that. One great beer bar that always has something fantastic on tap. We've got a couple of those too. Porter Beer Bar is in Little 5 Points is really good too. But the Brick Store is Doug Smith and I. We went there together one time, and Atlanta has never been the same. But they got a Belgian beer bar upstairs, and then they got a well curated list downstairs, and the food's really good. And so I don't get there often enough, but I am gonna. That's definitely on my radar. Three Taverns is there, which is what I think is the best brew pub. They're in Decatur, best brewery in Georgia, and and some other good ones too. So we'll keep the reviews coming. You know, the beer scene is changing. A lot of breweries are closing, and some of my favorites are
Yeah.
closed. And I hate
Has anything that's been hitting home to you in Georgia or around the area to you personally closed or threatening to close or being affected by the industry at the moment?
Yeah, there's two breweries in the past couple of years down the street from me that I used to go to frequently. Not frequently enough, apparently, but Dry County and what's the other one? Actually, this one was one of my favorites that I used to go to with my kids every year, and I can't think of the name of it, but it'll come to me. But they closed a few years ago, and Chuck Triplett made a very good point about some of these breweries having their lease come up and not being able to relocate to a place that
It's affordable. I mean, yeah, it's by far not the only reason. Okay. But it is a very, very, very large reason for a lot of these breweries closing. And it's the real estate. It's the commercial real estate. Since COVID, the price of warehouse space, and we're not talking about the breweries that are in retail, that they've gone up too, but not the percentage wise, it's not the same. The ones that were in industrial space, I mean, we're talking a difference of some places, and I'm averaging it out here, right? Don't quote me on this, but some places that were $4 and $5 and $6 a square foot are now $14, $16, $18, $20 a square foot. And I mean, they're tripling the price of these damn places. So the leases are done and they don't have an extension, or they've already done their one extension or whatever. And now it's time to renegotiate it. And these people want, because that's the going rate, right? They're going to get that from, I don't want to say Amazon, but the companies like that are just looking for warehouse space to store stuff because they're doing
or
distribution or Starbucks, right? Yeah, but
that's more in the commercial.
That's more commercial. Yeah, but it's
it was Burnt Hickory I was thinking of.
Burnt Hickory. We talked about Burnt Hickory before.
Yeah, and that's exactly the situation.
It's horrible. It's disgusting. What has happened to industrial space? It's insane.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to them, and they were really good. And I had a contentious. I don't think the owner. I was pretty honest that I thought their beers were overpriced. At first, they were. I only saw them on draft and a Taco Mac, and they were always an 11-ounce pour, and they were $9 and $10. And I mean, honest craft beer reviews, I try to keep it honest. And one of the things we always try to incorporate is not just the quality of the beer, but the price you pay. Because if I'm the average consumer, and these days it's more important than ever, right? I mean, prices going up on everything. If I can get a really great Imperial Stout for $8 for 23-ounce mug at Taco Mac, or $9 for an 11-ounce glass, I mean, I'd be crazy to go. Obviously, me, I'm going to try both of them. But the point is, it's
when you go back for your second and your third, you're going to have the 23-ounce for
and it's not something that it wasn't unique to their brewery. There's other breweries here that do the same thing, and some, I see some of these breweries that are commanding $20 a 4-pack of pint cans, and the quality just isn't there. And I know I can get something better from another brewery for a lower price. And I was very honest about that. But I met him. He was very cordial to me. And when I was down there, he's a good guy, and I like him. Would still buy him a beer if I ran into him. And his beer, but the thing was, his beers were very good, and that's why I like going to the brewery, because you could get stuff there you wouldn't see anywhere else. They have all
batch stuff and one-offs, of course. Well, I mean, that's the thing to do anyway. That goes everywhere.
I'd buy beer to bring home, and it's tough because as beer geeks, we're very fickle, and part of it is there's so many great breweries, and we want to hit all of them, and that's part of it. But it also means you divide your business up, and for some of them, unfortunately, it means they.
Well, the other thing that we're going to see now is that may not be as much of a problem. I think we're going to see a lot more brewery closures. March 14th, the tariff on steel and aluminum coming into the United States is going to take effect. That is going to hurt a lot of breweries.
Any breweries out
today?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, today was 25% on Canada, Mexico,
the steel,
and 10% on
China.
so.
China's been that way since mid-February.
Yeah, the steel and the aluminum, though.
This is another 10% on top.
They threw another 10% on top of it. China's.
Yeah, and this aluminum's important because that's going to hit the cans, right? Coca-Cola.
That's just it, exactly. So anybody out there, but the aluminum is the 14th, right? So we have 10 days.
14th. That's the 14th.
If you have the ability, anybody out there
stockpile your cans,
get a truckload and put it somewhere. If you can't buy a truckload, split a truckload with another brewery and put it somewhere. Get it now before the increase, because you're going to have to increase. We're going to see. Look, it's not going to be significant, right? It's not like an $18 4-pack is going to go up to $30. It's going to be $1. You know, it's going to be $1 or $2, or whatever. But so it's not going to be significant. But the price is going to increase specifically because of this.
Yep. And also the cost of brewery equipment because of the steel.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're gonna see this go up, and there's also talk about them about tariffs against the EU. So,
the today's tariffs are going to hit home because Unibrow. I love Unibrow. Guess what? It's going up. It's going to go up more than 25% because the importer is going to mark it up. They consider the tariff a cost of doing business, right? But just like production costs, they're going to mark up on it. It's like taxes that brewers in the U.S. pay to ATF, right? For that's a cost. It's tacked on at the production point, so they mark up on it. And your Unibrow is going up by more. You're not maybe a craft beer drinker, but you drink Corona. Guess what? It's going up 25%, and whatever the markup.
And if they hit the EU, there goes your Belgian beers and your German beers.
Yeah, and it's going to hurt American craft brewers that export to those markets because guess what? They're going to slap retaliatory tariffs on them. And our craft beers are going to be more expensive in their markets. So it's not good for beer. It's not good.
No, it's not designed to be good or bad for beer. It's not targeted towards those industries. It's just fallout. It's friendly fire, so to speak.
Well, yeah, but it's not good. I don't think tariffs are good.
For the country, period.
Any industry, because it just it's a license for domestic producers
to mark up the prices 100%. Rod J commented. He said, 2018, Trump cost breweries $1.4 billion with tariffs. Yeah,
it's going to be worse now.
I'm going to skip over your next comment, Rod, just to throw this one up there really quick. Wanderback Beer Works said, but as you just said, warehouse prices are going up, so paying to store a truckload of cans,
you can't win.
Yeah. So what I mean by that, 100%, you're 100% right. But what I mean by that is if you already have the space, you're already paying.
You got the room.
Throw it in there. If you can. If you can't, don't rent somewhere to store them because then it's the same price or more at that point. But
now the question is, are we going to see American breweries go back to bottled beer?
You know what? I mean, if it keeps going up like this, I don't see how it can't. I mean, there's still breweries that do a lot of bottled beer. I mean, but I can't see because
not Bombers though. I don't see Bombers hardly.
No, I mean that's
two of the 3 beers I drank tonight were cans.
Are we going to go back to that because of this? Exactly. That's a good possibility.
And Roger said too. He says, looking forward to how the discussions will be when I am at the Brewers Association conference in Indy in April. I'm at this point 50-50 at going out there because my daughter is getting married 2 days before the conference starts. It's possible that I might be out there on Monday. I'm so.
You're going to be a po' boy, so I don't. Can you afford to go?
Well, it depends. So, that's why I'm 50-50 right now. So we'll see. I will let you know.
I thought you were 56.
No, I'm 5,050 years old.
You're 50-50. Okay.
There you go. And he also said, can't just make a switch to bottling as easy or smaller brews. No, because look, there's canning companies that come around and help you can the beer. There's not bottling companies that come around
and help you bottle the beer. Nope. Maybe those companies, if they're smart, retool. Who knows?
Yeah, he says, oh, hell yeah. Come on, John. I will keep you posted, Rod. Don't worry about that. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, canning has become so. I mean, I'll tell you that this is every year for about 10 years now. I bought at Christmas time. I get the Advent calendar,
sure.
the Kalea German
Oh,
beer
you
Advent
do,
calendar.
and
From
yeah,
Costco.
and it's not here. I can't get it in Jersey. So
Nope.
next year,
Well,
next year you're gonna have to get a second one. I'm saying the money. Get a second one. Send it to me.
They didn't even bring them into the country this year at all. Instead, they had a beer garden collection, and this was from another company that put together. But what they did was they took a bunch of breweries that don't can, and they tanked the beer, shipped it all off to Poland, and had Malcolm S.A. in Poland can the stuff for them so that they could put it together for this collection, right?
Cool.
But that's the versatility of these canning facilities, mobile canning facilities, big breweries that'll can for you. I've seen stuff that Plank Bro from Germany. They ship beer in tanks to OEC in Connecticut, and they in turn can it off from the tanks and sell it here in this market. But you're threatening all that with these. If the price of cans goes up, all of that becomes
way more expensive. So. Yeah, and then Wanderback Brew just said, and we just spent 15 years convincing consumers that cans are the better package. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem wasn't the cans; it was the shit that was in the cans that were the problem.
Yeah,
that was the problem.
Exactly, and Wanderback too. I'll post it up this week. But when I was at Vagabond on Saturday, I had Dark Matter. So I had your dark lager. So kudos on that. I'll talk to you about that. I'll put up a post later this week. So that was pretty tasty. So leave it at that.
Tasty is good.
Little tasty is good. So
I like tasty cakes too.
Oh, tasty cakes are fantastic. Ooh. Has anybody done a tasty cake stout?
No, but Victory's done a couple tasty.
That's true. Oh yeah,
yes they have.
They did the coffee cake, and now they got another one out, right? By the way, on that note, Drake's Cakes up in New York loved them, and they're still good for the most part, but they've been bought out by Little Debbie, and I despise Little Debbie. The only thing I like from
what did she do to you?
What's she long story? Let it go. What did she do to you?
Will Ferrell went on Saturday Night Live in a Little Debbie.
There you
go. I digress, but
hey, that's not your line.
My son came out of Walmart. We had gone to Taco Mac Sunday night, and we were off to drop my grandson off for his mom to pick him up in Walmart. So he goes in, and they have this amalgam of oatmeal cream pies, which are the only thing I like from Little Debbie, and Nutty Buddies.
Oh, Nutty Buddies, yeah.
And they were the most god-awful thing that you can possibly imagine. I hated them. My son hated them. My grandson hated them. My dog wouldn't eat them. My wife loves Little Debbie. She wouldn't go near them. She wouldn't even take a bite of them. They were like.
But the thing
horrible.
Is, but Drake's probably makes my favorite snack cake, and that is the Funny Bone.
Funny Bones are delicious. Those actually are still pretty good. The Devil Dogs taste a little less chocolatey.
Oh yeah, they taste more chemical than chocolate now.
You know what? I haven't had a Devil Dog in so many years that I probably would not be able to tell the difference.
They just don't seem as dark.
Okay.
They don't have as much.
Yes, it was
Doug Smith just commented in Slancha, Doug.
Hey, Slancha, buddy.
Doug, how are you? The coffee cakes are still pretty good, and Newman can testify to that.
Newman. So anyway, all right. Well, I personally want to thank you for the reviews that you put up of the beers that Dave gave you. Yes.
Oh no, they were delicious.
Thank you very much.
And I didn't realize. I got home and realized, crap, I had more I could have given them that I forgot to pack.
I'm gonna get them. You gave them what? What did you give them?
It was the Shooting Sea Star and the Dark Mild, which was
this is Schwartz beer.
The Vertical Migration.
No, it wasn't.
Oh
no, the Dark Mild, the Rye Mild.
Rymel.
Posh.
Posh. Gotcha. I'll send you down some vertical migration. I'll send you down some Schwartz beer. For you to have as well. So, but yes, thank you for those. Appreciate that. And you were saying, Dave?
I just wanted to mention while we're in a little bit of a lull here before we sign off, I'd be remiss if I didn't wish my son a happy 24th birthday.
Yes, I wish my daughter a happy 28th birthday last week at the end of the show. So it's the end of the show. So yes.
But the funny thing is, where he is, it's not his birthday anymore. It's 9 a.m. in Okinawa.
There you go.
But at 10:30 last night, I wished him a happy birthday. It was 10:30.
Well, right, but here's the thing: for you, it's his birthday, so you can still say happy birthday to him. So we can say happy birthday.
And it's not like he watches the show,
right?
Because I can guarantee you he doesn't.
But if he does,
well, I'm sure my daughter didn't watch last week when we said happy birthday to her either. But
Nicholas doesn't. He doesn't drink.
So
he just talks about tanks and firearms.
There you go.
He's military, so.
And he's over in Okinawa?
Yeah, he's in Okinawa.
He's in Okinawa. So Japan here, China here, Okinawa here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not allowed to talk about it. I said, I'm pretty certain that the whole reason that we have a military presence there is to protect Taiwan in case China attacks. His response was, I'm not allowed to comment on that.
Well, he could tell you, but then
he will. Yeah, exactly. And Doug Smith just coming. I was stationed in Okinawa.
Oh, cool.
As was my cousin. My cousin was in Okinawa for a couple of years. So he was over there.
Yeah, Nicholas has been there since October, and at one point they moved him up to Fukuoka. Mm-hmm. And we don't really have a military base there. They're on the Japanese airport is where they had them. I'm like, that's a really strange place to put American fighter planes. Until you look at the map and realize that Fukuoka is right across from South Korea, and North Korea was acting up a little bit. And they wouldn't have to go and invade. They wouldn't have to cross into any airspace they're not supposed to be in to go ahead and threaten North Korea. So there was a reason they were put there. And when I posited this to my son, his reply was, "I'm not allowed to comment on that."
There you go. Doug just said too. He said 2 weeks in a row. I only caught the last minutes.
Well, they should caught some.
There you go. On that note, Doug, you can fill us in, or you can ask your son, Dave. Is there a Tomi Village right next to the air base in Okinawa?
Tomi Village is actually based off of an island that's off of Okinawa, I believe.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think it's actually because it's Okinawan karate that they're teaching, but I believe it's a small island or.
Well, it's Miyagi karate that they were teaching.
Yes, it is Miyagi karate. Yes.
Yeah. Have either of you watched? Did either of you watch Karate Cobra Kai?
I did not.
Not Cobra Kai. No.
Okay, so we just finished it because they just wrapped it up this a couple weeks ago, whatever. If you didn't watch it at all, I mean, it's long, but you can binge it. I mean, it's six seasons, 10 episodes a season, except for the last season, there was 15.
We learned that Danny was the bad guy, right?
Everybody's saying that, but let's put it this way: I'll just say this: if you watched it, you know. If you didn't and you want to, this isn't going to kill it for you. The way they started it and the way they finished it, is very apropos for the way they started it and what they were trying to say.
It was all a dream?
No.
Oh.
No, this was not Newhart. This was not Newhart.
Hey, Dallas did that first.
There you go. Anyway. All right. John, any last things you want to bring up? Anything we all want to say about Mardi Gras or Fat Tuesday, or for that matter, the upcoming Lenten holiday, or the upcoming St. Patrick's Day, which we'll have a St. Patrick's Day show next week?
Yeah, no, Mardi Gras is always a lot of fun. It's the last hurrah. But I love Cajun culture, Cajun music. We didn't even talk about Cajun music. Right?
Oh boy,
Zydeco music,
stomp and all that stuff. Oh yeah, that was big.
I've got to see these.
Uzu Barnes and the Cajun Stompers. Anybody knows what I mean by that? You'll know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
You know, you know.
I do have a signed CD from Buckaroo Bonsai. No, Buckwheat Zydeco.
Well, it's,
So I don't know if you
of
ever
course,
heard
that
of
was all over. That's you're going to catch a lot of that while you're down in New Orleans, and it's really a fun town. And I definitely got to get back there. First time I went there was so much fun, and it's unique. It's very different.
Yep.
I like to say Savannah is kind of like New Orleans light, but in many ways it's not. They're similar, but they're different. So
from what I've never been to Savannah.
I've only been to Savannah once, and I didn't take full advantage of it when I was there either.
I've got to get to Savannah. The one impression that I had about New Orleans is when you walk the streets of New Orleans, you can feel the history, you can feel the age. It's there's so many places you can go that are historic. Like there's areas of Boston that are historic, portions of New York that are historic. There's towns in New Jersey that are historic, but it's not like New Orleans. You can feel the age. You can feel that history permeating everything.
Oh well, that's in Savannah too. If you get out to the you got the ghost rides and all that stuff in Savannah, and there's if you go to the square in Savannah, there's one of my ancestors or a distant cousin of mine is Nathaniel Green. When I lived in Rhode Island, I lived about a mile and a half from the Nathaniel Green homestead.
Right.
And this really shocked me because when I get down, so this guy has been near me all my life. He's like a ninth cousin in my family tree. And I get down and I get in the square and there's a statue to Nathaniel Green because, his service to the state of Georgia during the Revolutionary War, he was awarded land in Georgia and he moved there. And much like me, he moved down here and he died in Georgia, just like I probably will. So maybe I'll get a statue in Savannah too for all the beer I've drunk over the years. But
right outside of Taco Mac, there you go.
Yeah, right outside of Taco Mac. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And there really is a lot of. It doesn't have the same history; it's a different history. But
of course,
there's a history of Savannah too, and I think they're similar because, of course, it's a party town, just like New Orleans is. Not to the degree New Orleans is, but you mentioned earlier they've got the biggest St. Patrick's Day parade, so they've got some things going on. They've got the daiquiri machines running night and day, just like New Orleans does, and the beer's flowing, and you can walk around with one. So, it's.
But you can't get boiled peanuts in New Orleans.
No, that's true.
You can in Savannah.
Yeah, you can't get po' boys in Savannah, at least not that I saw.
But the other thing about New Orleans, for those of us of any kind of girth, New Orleans is a challenge because a lot of especially if you stay in a Verbo or an Airbnb or something like that, the doors are skinny.
There we go.
They're a challenge to get through sometimes. I really thought the Airbnb we were in, I thought I'd broken the door because they're double doors, but they're really skinny double doors. So you have to open both to make a normal sized door.
Sure.
So we're just in the habit of opening just the one and going through it. And I went through and I thought I'd broken the door that wasn't open by running into the damn thing. So just be careful of know your girth.
Know your girth. So you need to know your girth.
Yes.
Always know your girth. Yes.
Yes.
KYG. Know your girth. There you
Yes.
go. Brew, Doug Smith said, Brew Guru still has my Cajun music CD.
Zydeco Stomp.
Zydeco Stomp. I said once again, Boozoo Barnes and the Cajun Stompers. Again, if you know, you know. There you go. I'll tell you guys later. But anyway, he said, what are you guys giving up? What are you guys giving up? Obviously, he means for Lent. He said, I won't be giving up beer for Lent. We said it before, Doug, before you started watching. All three of us are giving up anchovies and snails for Lent.
And frog's legs. Don't forget the
frog's legs. And frog's legs. Anchovies, snails, and frog's legs.
Yeah.
Giving up. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
And also ingesting lye. I'm going to give that up too.
Ingesting lye. Yeah. There you go. That's probably a good move.
Yeah.
Probably a good move. There you go. No lying. You won't be doing any lying.
Oh no, I'm not giving that.
No LYE. Any lying. LYE.
No.
There you go. So anyway, all right, guys, great show, awesome show.
Thank you.
I love it whenever you come on. It's always an awesome show. Please.
Yes.
Any parting shots for the listeners? John?
I hope everybody had a great Mardi Gras and
There you go.
good beers and food and music.
And absolutely. And looking forward to St. Patrick's Day. Next week, we'll do a St. Patrick's Day show. Tomorrow on the The Chaser show.
Oh, yeah.
Is our St. Patrick's Day cocktail show. So you want to pay attention to that. That's around somewhere between 6 and 6:30 and on the The Chaser and the Chaser page, and of course on the Locker Room YouTube channel as well.
We'll be doing car bombs on the show, but we're not allowed to use Guinness.
Car bombs without Guinness, and then a cocktail afterwards. So it's going to be a fun show.
Oh, and here's the thing: if you ever go to Ireland to order a car bomb, they don't take kindly to that. Yeah, don't do that. That's an American thing. Don't be that guy.
Bad thing.
Don't be that guy.
100%. And then, of course, after the Chaser show tomorrow night, we have our bi-weekly sports podcast. And speaking of sports, and I kept it out of it until the very end of the show, Dave.
Okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom
now. John, what's your thoughts on what they're talking about with the Giants right now?
What are they talking about with the Giants right now?
No.
Who they're talking about signing as the quarterback for the Giants?
I have not heard this. If it's
yes. It's the Brett Favre Jr. Yes.
Yeah, Brett Favre Jr. The Jets reject there.
Yes.
You guys are really thinking of signing him? Or
don't look at me.
We're not.
Don't include me. Don't include me in that, you guys.
So in our group, I had put up a poll as to who people would rather see as taking snaps for the Giants. It was between Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Donald Trump, and one of the guys in the group, James Harris. James Harris won by a landslide.
And did you see that? Did you see the two that I put up? A drunk James Harris and a sleeping James Harris, and they still did better than Aaron Rodgers.
Than the others.
Aaron Rodgers he's he could come back and have a great year. I don't know, but
who knows?
I don't think so.
He's entirely lost his mind.
Yeah.
He's seeing shadow people.
As long as it keeps them, as long as they keep him out of New England, right?
He's not coming to New England. Yeah. That's
So
I think we're pretty good in the quarterback category.
I think you're right. I think you're going to be fine.
Drake May is going to be okay.
Drake May is going to be fine. I think.
we've got a good draft pick going in. We could have had a better one, but you know what? It is what it is. I think Gerard Mayo got kind of the shaft.
Of course he did. Well, I mean, they're Mike Vrabel. I mean, had to be right. I mean, you and I talked about this, John.
Yeah.
It was it sucked for Gerard Mayo, but there was no way that Robert Kraft was going to let Mike Vrabel not be there.
No, had Mike Vrabel been available, I still think it was a mistake to fire Belichick. That was really stupid. Mm-hmm. But and as time goes by, you can see that's not a Belichick decision. That's a Bob Kraft decision, right? Mm-hmm. But I think he made a mistake. But be that as it may, if he's going to do, he wanted Mike Vrabel, right? If Mike Vrabel had been available at the time, he would have hired Mike Vrabel,
right?
I think Gerard Mayo was a good, he was a good defensive coordinator, and the potential was there. Can't cry too much because the guy's he's multimillionaire, right? I'm sure he's going to get a nice severance package, but even with his compensation as a player and 1 year as a coach, he's going to make more money than most of us ever will.
That's
in several lifetimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I still think the guy, deserved better, but is what it is. I think Mike Vrabel will be a better coach. And I think, we're looking good for
I agree with you on that one. And anybody that's watching this either live or the replay on Facebook or Twitch or our YouTube channel, if you look behind John, if you look over John's left shoulder, you'll see why John is talking about the Patriots, and
he's got the goat up there.
He's got the goat fat head up there on the wall. So
yeah, we actually just had our kitchen cabinets redone, and
Tom Brady's face is all over them.
No, but the guy that these two guys that we hired that run their own company, they were from I think they were Bosnian. Yeah, they were Bosnian immigrants, and I have a plaque on my wall commemorating Tom Brady's 50th. No, what is it? It's his. I can't remember what it is because I've had too many beers. But anyway, the moral of the story is the guy comes in and he's like, he starts working and then he looks over and this is the owner of the company. He's like, "Oh, Tom Brady!" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like going nuts because he's like, "The GOAT, man, the GOAT!" And he was like a huge Tom Brady fan. So
that's funny.
This is one of the things I did like about the I really never like to see the Eagles win anything, but Eagles winning the Super Bowl settled the GOAT argument. In very much the same way that the last World Cup settled the GOAT argument between Messi and the Portuguese guy. Why am I forgetting his name? Because
Messi and the Portuguese guy,
Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
Right, in very much the same way. It was once that game was over, once the World Cup was over, it was very obvious who the GOAT was. After that Super Bowl, the arguments as to who is the GOAT.
Look, I don't care what anybody says about soccer. The GOAT played in the 70s, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, and there's a reason why Messi wears 10 and Ronaldo wears 10. It's like the kids who play soccer today, they wear 10 because Messi wears 10. Messi wears 10 because Pele wore 10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the kids fully understand that the greats of today are honoring the greatest ever.
I love the fact that I got to see Pele play going over to Giant Stadium when he was on the Cosmos. Yeah. Him and Beckenbauer and those guys playing. That was...
and Roberto as well was on that team. So yeah, there were some names on that team.
But in any event, yeah, you're absolutely right. So that was that with that. And then Doug Smith just commented, he said, Vrabel, getting back to the Patriots, Vrabel is the future. He said, Mayo is collateral damage, sadly. And then he said, yes, Mahomes is no GOAT. There you go. There you go. So there you go.
I mean, he's got time. He's still got time.
Yeah, we'll see what comes of it. But what we do know is that the Giants, I had to bring it back around.
Well, the Chiefs did have a GOAT in that game because they did make the tight end dating Taylor the GOAT. He was a scapegoat.
Scapegoat, yeah.
Yeah.
I know who knows will come back, but in any event, look, I'm going to ask this question, then we'll end the show. Okay, I'm just going to ask this question. I'll ask it of both of you.
He's going to answer the question. We're not going to answer. He's just going to ask the question and end the show.
There you go. That's the question. You answer, and then I'll end the show. Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward? I'll give you my answer after the two of you give me yours.
I'm supposed to know who those two people are, huh?
That's who the Giants may or may not draft as a quarterback for the future.
Oh, right. That's the draft.
So, John, you first. Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward?
I am not a college. I don't follow college football, so I'm not the guy to answer that question.
Okay. I used to follow college football quite.
I know. As long as if they're not on Oklahoma, you really don't know who they are.
No, that's not true. If they're on Oklahoma or played Oklahoma during the season, because there were some players out there that I was definitely. What was Julius Peppers? I watched Julius Peppers just single-handedly destroy the Oklahoma defense. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma pulled out the win anyway, and I was screaming, we need to draft this guy, and the Giants didn't, but at any rate. Mm-hmm. But I don't know enough about these two guys to know which one to go to. If I'm going on names alone, Cam Ward's a really good name.
Yeah.
That's a good name, and the guys with the good names tend to have really good careers. So I'm gonna.
That didn't work out for Cam Newton when he played the Patriots, but
anyway. So I'm gonna. But it worked out elsewhere.
Doug Smith just said Sanders. He said Dion can come with him. He said so. I got to be honest with you. I wouldn't mind Shedeur Sanders, but Shedeur Sanders is a work in progress. He's got a good arm, but he's not as athletic. He's not as good an athlete as Cam Ward is.
No, I will tell you that my son, who follows, he doesn't follow college football either, but he's a huge Patriots fan. We watch the games together. We never miss them together. We always watch them. And what he does do is he follows college enough to know who we should grab in the draft. And he has commented on Sanders, and he's not really.
Yeah, Sanders has a good arm, but that's about where it ends, right? He's not that good.
Yeah.
His footwork needs work. He's not as good an athlete as Cam Ward. Cam Ward is good. Cam Ward's better.
You're saying he's the Jeff George?
I would say that honestly, if I had to, we'll talk more about this on the sports podcast tomorrow night. But if I had to compare Shedeur Sanders to somebody, honestly, I'd say not as athletic as Caleb Williams. All right, who went number 1 overall last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but so the arm is there, but that's really the rest of it isn't bad by any means. It's workable, but it's not there yet, right? I think Cam Ward's a safer bet, but Jackson Dart's coming around a little bit too, and that's from.
That wasn't one of the options you gave us.
I know. I'm just giving you. Well, I just gave you 2. Mine is like, honestly, I'm
going to give you 2 options, but I know so much. I've got a third.
I honestly, I don't love either of them. But
no, of course not.
Brian, here's my thing. If Brian
because every year that we've got a high draft pick and need a quarterback, the quarterback class that's coming out is shit.
Yeah, like this year.
Every time that we've got a high draft pick and need a quarterback.
One of the best quarterbacks in the draft was the last one to be picked, and that was by Denver, and it was Bo Nix.
Yeah, and the thing is, and last time that we had a really high pick, we took Daniel Jones, and
that was just stupidity.
We could have had Josh Allen.
No, we couldn't have Josh Allen.
I thought it was Josh Allen.
We could have Josh Allen the year before when we took Saquon Barkley.
Who was? Yeah, but there's someone that we passed up for Daniel Jones who turned out to be really good. I forgot who it was.
Yeah. But we passed up when we took Saquon Barkley. The only quarterback in that draft that we weren't going to be able to take was Baker Mayfield, because he went number 1. Saquon Barkley went number 2. That was 2018. We passed up Josh Allen. We passed up Lamar Jackson. Look, Giants got work to do. You never know. Whatever. We'll find out what happens. It's too early to tell. Who knows what they're going to do? Who knows if they're taking Aaron Rodgers? Who knows if they're taking any other quarterback that's a free agent quarterback or trading? Honestly, I heard that they had a deal in place for Matthew Stafford. And Matthew Stafford obviously re-signed with the Rams. But if Matthew Stafford didn't re-sign with the Rams, for all intents and purposes, he was going to be a New York Giant. So,
well, I'm just glad we took Tom Brady as our first overall pick when we did, because all those other teams could have got him.
Yeah. That's the way the way that works.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
It wasn't a number.
Not the 6th round, 199th pick, right?
Yeah. It was far away.
Not that one. No.
We did not. But my point is that you never know, right? I mean, my son was like when we were in the running for the first overall pick for this draft, he's like, well, obviously we don't need a quarterback with Drake May, right? But he's like, you have trade value, but the problem is that there's, in his opinion, there's just like not a lot of good quarterbacks that teams would trade up a lot of picks for to us. Yeah. So his concern was we weren't going to get as much, right? We need an O-line, we need receivers, and we don't need a quarterback, but you get those things by sacrificing if you have a top spot, then you can get those things at lower places in the draft, and you can get more of them by trading away. So I don't think this is a quarterback.
It's not
draft, but you never know.
Who knows? Who's coming?
You don't know.
Who's coming out of Morehead State?
That's why I'm seeing exactly. The next Phil Simms is coming out of Kentucky. Right? So Brian Boak just said Cam Ward do not want a prima donna attitude.
Well, that's what you're going to get with Primetime Son.
Yeah, that too. So honestly, and it's not for any other reason that I think I think his numbers are good. I think his talent is there. I think he's a good, solid quarterback that you can work with and build. He's not going to start this year. He shouldn't start this year. But I honestly think Jackson Dart from Ole Miss is in the running for being somebody that they should look at. Maybe take whoever you're going to take, because they want the Giants want a veteran quarterback, because whoever they draft, if they're drafting a quarterback, whoever they draft, they're not starting them this year. So whatchamacallit? So it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, or it's going to be Russell Wilson, or it's going to be Justin Fields, or it's going to be Jameis Winston.
But there's also a possibility Terry Bradshaw will retire from behind the bench and he can come back.
He can come back, right? I mean, Eli said he's up for it, so. But in any event, I think that the way to go is to trade back into the draft a little bit, get some draft capital, pick up your veteran, and then trade back a little bit and get Jackson Dart. But that's just me. Brian Boak, I'm putting Brian Boak's comment up again. He said, Ward, period, do not want a prima donna attitude. So he wasn't saying prima donna attitude was Ward. He was saying prima donna attitude was Shedeur Sanders.
Then that's what I said. That's what you're going to get. Right.
Right, exactly.
And it's a prima donna attitude.
Prima donna, yeah.
Prima donna. I'm going to go take a leak while you
go do that.
While you overanalyze.
I'm done overanalyzing. So you go to the bathroom. John and I are going to close the show without you. How's that?
You do that. I'll be right back.
Do that. John, stay on the show. Don't worry. We're going to talk for a couple minutes afterwards. On that note, we will wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everyone for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.logroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Logger Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Pandora, Amazon Music, iTunes Music, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you will find the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Continue to have a great Mardi Gras today. Happy Fat Tuesday to everybody. Brian Boak just commented. He said, "Get an O-line. Do not pick on my spelling, or I will leave." I wasn't picking on it. Dave was. So leave it at that. So,
not for nothing. In about 10 minutes, you feel free to leave.
Not even 10 minutes, about 2 minutes. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
we're that close.
Have a great rest of your
here it comes.
Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you next week on our St. Patrick's Day show. And don't forget our End of Chaser cocktail and beer pairing show, St. Patrick's Day version, tomorrow night as well. We will talk to you then, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, folks.
They found him face down in his waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake robe. Who did he see when he heard who was there? Now it seems that he shit out of love. This little